My friends, welcome back. We are here with episode number, I think 19. I didn't check, though. It would be professional to check. However, I did not do that. But it is 19. I was correct. And we have a special guest this week, Mr. TheOtterly. Hello.
Hey, finally glad to be on here
Yeah,
after
happy to have
19
you.
episodes.
After 19 episodes. Yeah, well, it's I like I've had like a variety of people, like from people who have been in the community for like a long time, and then people who are newer. So I think it's kind of fun to mix it up with like people who have maybe like a fresher perspective on things around the community, and then people who maybe have like an older perspective. So yeah, welcome. Happy to have you on. And yeah, we got a good amount of questions this week, Otterly. So if you are ready, then I can just dive right in, and we'll see what we've got.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean, we don't have any special like intros or anything.
no, I know I'm not that professional. I don't have any of that. So
Hey y'all, Otterly here, back with another Minecraft Let's Play.
oh yeah, yeah. Oh, you should have prepared that. Darn it. It's okay. All right. Well, the first one looks to be a question just for you because I can't answer it. So, question one says, I'm just assuming it's directed to you because it's not something I can answer. So the question says, why did you choose to be an otter?
Oh, I hate how simple it is, or maybe it's a good thing that's simple. It's mostly just like it's a giant pun on like the like four-dimensional like graph of like body types, but one of them that like I kind of fit in real life is it's otter, which is like less than bear. I don't know how to describe it as more than that. It's like you're kind of a little bit, you're not like smooth Twinkie or anything, but you're not like, whoa, I'm like covered in fur.
Right.
And literally, like in real life, even though it's technically called hair.
I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah, and I think you kind of were actually talking about that in the stream a little bit last night, if I recall. Like there was something about like otters. I don't know if I'm misremembering that, but yeah,
Yeah, no, it was asked literally last night.
that's
It was
hilarious.
very funny how this is coming up right after that.
Yeah, well, this is the first question, so probably probably someone asked it way before last night's stream. So yeah.
That's probably what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like, oh well, this is the first question,
Yeah.
so it's probably like right afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, I did the same thing with Leo. I was like, hey, why did you choose? Hello, fellow otter. But I guess the second like, not like answer is also it's like, otters are very easy to like, I don't know how to say. I would just say humanize, where it's like they kind of already stand on like two like legs most of the time. Their fur isn't like, you have to learn how to draw their fur because it's so short and like stuck to their body most of the time. So in addition to both like, okay, kind of a pun on like my body type, but also on the on like how easy it is to draw. I was like, okay, well let's choose an animal that's like also easy to draw, like in a sort of an anthro sort of sense. And I've seen a lot of like anthropomorphic otters that are it's literally just a guy, but you just recolor it.
That's funny.
And he's got a big tail. I'm like, okay, cool. So that like fits the like mold between like this is like an anthro animal and this is just a guy with like different like colors.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool, and like yeah, I mean, I think definitely like talking about like I guess I never really considered like the easiness to draw factor very much in anything I've done because I'm thinking like, oh yeah, dragons, that's not easy to. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's probably very easy. So I think that's pretty cool. I do know. I think Pocat, and I might be misremembering this. I think he had a similar thing where he like, and I think this is a really actually funny reason. His character was gonna have horns, but then he realized like a lot of artists charge extra money for horns, so then he took the horns away because it's like I don't want to pay extra, so all right, we're just gonna remove that. Yoink.
They removed the horns for financial reasons. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Which is actually like really valid. If you buy a lot of art, like that's actually like could add up to a lot of money. So
no, it's fair. I know Pocat does a lot of like art commissions,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he
Of
gets a lot of
we've seen
art,
it.
yeah, so, like, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're gonna be buying that much art, that could be, like, potentially, like, I don't know, if you say, like, say they charge, like, $20 for the horns, like, if you buy, like, 50 pieces of art, that's, like, $1,000, so that's a lot of money, so I
Yeah,
guess
on
it's
top of
worth it.
everything else.
Yeah, like, that's kinda
Um,
worth it, yeah.
Yeah, but I know a lot of it since the furry community is so like art oriented and not in like a visual sense, even though yes, that is like the most common type of art because that's the easiest to share around.
Yeah,
But I mean, there's a lot of like music and games and stuff.
sure.
But I still, especially when I first was thinking about like my Sona and stuff, that was when I was trying to learn a little bit of my art skills because it was right before I still didn't have like a tablet or anything, and I don't know if I guess I'll say this on the podcast because it's easier to like reference, but it's like my first time ever drawing my Sona was literally like the night I went to my first FurCon,
Mhm.
which was like a month after I was like, I think being a furry is kind of cool actually.
Yeah, it's the
So a
coolest.
lot of things happened at once. And so it kind of blended together like that, where it was like, hey, here's something that's easy to draw, but then also like kind of speaks to me.
Yeah. No, yeah, like, I think that's a really cool perspective because, yeah, I never really I mean, I guess that's like I have the privilege of not worrying about it, or I just am a jerk that doesn't care about it, but, like, I've never ever thought about, like, "Oh, that's easier to draw, so that's like a good idea." Like, I just, I guess that's an interesting perspective because yeah, I never thought about that. So pretty cool, pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's only because I was planning to draw it. So it's like, of course, I'm
Yeah,
going to think
fair.
that in
So
like my mind.
you're like,
Like, if you're
I'm a new
thinking of,
artist, yeah.
yeah, if you're like, oh, what's a cool like animal or something that really speaks to me, and you're like browsing, I don't know. Okay, not just like a nerd, but going on Wikipedia and being like, okay, let me look at all the animals ever. I didn't literally do that, but I felt like I should have. I was like, I gotta research my inner animal, really
Oh,
figure out what this is. And I was
every
like,
animal
no,
ever
we're gonna
based.
see what the funny Twitter artists
That's
or
amazing.
now Blue Sky artists
Every
were like,
art,
oh, you know
every
what?
animal
Let's
ever.
leave. No,
I
yeah,
love
no,
it.
that would have been too much time. It would have taken the fun out of it. It was
That's,
like, it just vibe checked. It passed the vibe check, and I
yeah,
was
no,
like,
I
this is what
mean,
I'm gonna stick with.
that's no, that's super cool. Well, Mr. or Miss or non-binary question asker, thanks for the question. Yeah, it's blank, so
Oh yeah,
appreciate
I was gonna
that.
ask. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
what?
I
Usually
briefly
read out the
looked.
person.
I briefly looked, and it seems like only a couple of them have names on it. So yeah, I'll just if there's a name, then I'll read it. If not, then yeah, we won't.
They're all mine, but I couldn't put my own name for obvious reasons.
Yo, Otterly asked himself so many questions. Yeah, that'd be hilarious if you just like ask questions that you like, and you like scripted out the answers to have like the perfect answer, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you're a genius! Like
Oh my god,
you
no,
answered it
I'm
all so
not
well."
that much of a mastermind.
uh,
Meanwhile, I was just like, "Oh, Otterly, why are you so cool?" I was like, "Well, let me tell you all about this." And
Yo,
then
that
two
would have
hours
been good
later,
too. Dang it.
I shoot that for the first question. Yeah,
That would have been amazing. All right.
but asking about Persona is a great first question, regardless.
I agree. Okay, so next question, and I'm actually like I've kind of talked about this, and this isn't directed at me or you, but I mean we could both answer, but I've kind of talked about it. But I'm actually really curious your answer. So it says, what is the first video game you played? Uh, well, I guess that's the first part of the question. So, like, what is the first game you remember playing? Because it might be different, and it's probably going to be way different compared to something for me because you are from a different generation. So, go ahead, hit us.
Yeah. Yeah, although this one might be a little bit surprising because it's like I don't say, I hate to say old, but like my dad actually owned a PlayStation 1.
Mhm.
So I know there's a game or two beforehand. So okay, my actual first
Yeah,
game
I guess like, what's the
was
first
on
game you
this,
remember
yeah.
playing? Yeah.
It was my family were they believed in edutainment games.
Oh boy.
So does that count? I had this orange like blob of like a game called, it was like, think of it the Nintendo 64, but it was like just recolored orange. It even had like cartridges and everything.
Whoa.
but it was like the I don't know, the leapfrog version of the like Nintendo 64, I guess.
That's
And
funny.
so it's like you put in cartridges or something and it would like teach you whatever. And it had like an Atari style like joystick, and then it like taught you things. I except which ironic is I don't remember any of it. But I mean, I'm sure they probably helped me. If nothing else, probably in reading, right? Because they're like, hey, you have to read the instructions to play.
Yeah, I mean, presumably. You're a good reader.
Yeah, that's as I think video games definitely helped me like read better because it's like, well, duh, you have to understand how to play.
Yeah.
So that's like that's my actual correct answer, but I'm giving my technically correct answer of like what like I actually remember playing like
Yeah.
and consistently and enjoying for like fun was the original Tomb Raider.
Oh, cool.
My dad had a PlayStation 1, and I remember I never actually knew what I was supposed to be doing because again, I was like baby. And it was just like running around the first level and the mansion like hub level.
Yeah.
Literally, I don't think I ever got past those. I just because there were so many different ways to like parkour around and
Yeah.
just like running around and seeing like where everything was and trying to see to me, because I'm sure there's a instruction manual or something, like a secret ways of like platforming. Like, oh, I didn't know you could like wall ledge because like I've never played a platformer before,
Right.
so of course I'd never heard about that. And it was just I hate to say it's so liminal space, but like it kind of is. You're just hanging around like an empty like garage, or I think there was a church or something. That may have been the second level. No, there was another one. She was in the jungle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That one, I never got past there because there was some place where she like slid down like a ramp with like obstacles. I don't think I ever made it.
No.
So I usually would just spend my time in the safer like first level and the hub area. So that's my
I'm a
real
big
first
Tomb
one.
Raider fan. Yeah, that's awesome. So I have a question. Were you afraid of the butler guy at the mansion? Because a lot of people reference like but like I know it scared me, and like other people I've talked to who were big Tomb Raider fans were scared of that guy too, because he was creepy. He just follow you around everywhere. It's like very creepy core.
You know, it's funny. I was not. I wasn't. I think it was mostly because I was just blissfully ignorant. So
Yeah,
it's
you
kind of
just
like,
didn't even know.
whoa, there's this cool butler guy. He's walking around, not realizing that like he's walking to me.
Yeah.
I did do the refrigerator shut in thing though,
Oh
because I
yeah.
was
Yeah,
still
people love
everyone's
doing
still
that.
evil, just a little bit evil. So I did absolutely like lock him in the freezer at least once or twice.
Okay, good. Yeah, he deserves it.
He deserves it, but he was so nice.
I don't know. I'm
all,
not
all
so
he
sure.
did was offer you the plate of nothing.
All he
Did
did
he have a
was
plate
be
or do you just walk
horrified.
around?
Well, yeah, I think he had like a some kind of plate looking thing at least. Like I don't know if it was. Yeah, I guess the correct term would be like a serving tray, maybe.
Oh yeah.
You know, like those butlers be having. But no, that's really cool. I'm a big Tomb Raider fan. I played a lot of Tomb Raider. When I was a wee lad, I actually have like we played at like I've talked about how my dad played well not played plays a lot of PC games and yeah, I have our original copies. As my dad has gotten older, he gave me those, so I have those up on my game shelf here, like our original copies we played many years ago. And yeah, I love Tomb Raider. I was super happy that we got a remaster of those. I would love to like either stream or maybe do like a YouTube series of Tomb Raider. And speaking of Tomb Raider, if you ever did a game stream, seeing you play Tomb Raider would be freaking cool too. So
You're
something to
making me
keep
want to
about.
play it like right now
No,
because I'm like
that
I
would be
want to see.
awesome.
I haven't touched it. Okay, because I didn't grow up to become a Tomb Raider fan. I
Right.
did become a PlayStation boy though,
Yeah.
because I got the PlayStation 2 and then that was it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
I
sense because
asked specifically for the PlayStation 2.
yeah, like it makes a lot of sense you talking about like how your dad had a PlayStation because I know like you've talked about like I think at Orcas or you know you're familiar with a lot of PlayStation games even though it's not really your like generation quote unquote. Um so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That kind of like fills in the blank because it was like, oh, how is he like so knowledgeable about PlayStation when like yeah, he's like two like you were born after the PlayStation was already out.
Yeah,
So
but
that
we
makes
still have
sense.
one.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's really cool.
but yeah. Oh, I can't. Oh, I absolutely want to boot it up like now. I guess maybe I can do that on a stream
No, I think that'd
and
be a
just
great
like be
stream.
like, "Oh, I remember this. Oh my goodness. Yo, it's the parking garage I spent 500 hours in or whatever."
Yeah, and like the thing about the Tomb Raider games is like I played them a lot as a kid too, but they're very like there's a lot to them in terms of like exploration and like I am so certain like I don't know about you but like a really cool thing for me is like I sometimes this is way before your time but like recently I was playing Wolfenstein like Wolfenstein 3D like the first one well, it's not the first one, but anyway, it's the one that most people know about. But yeah, like I haven't played this game in like a long time, and there was like I don't know if you really know much about the game or anything, but like basically the whole game is like exploration, and there's like the secrets are just like in the walls. So like you walk up to walls and you push the use key on them, and then they open up into like secrets and stuff. And there's not like indications like, oh, this is the wall where there's a secret. So you spend a lot of time walking up to the wall and smashing the use key to check. But like I was playing it and I haven't played it in like a long time, but I like found myself being like, oh, I know like this wall and it's just like a blank looking wall, but just like visual memory from like playing the game when I was a kid and being like, oh yeah, like I remember this wall has like a secret in it. So I'm going to walk up to this random wall and push E and oh, I was right. Like somehow I remembered that. So I don't know if you have the same kind of thing when you play games from your childhood, or maybe like when you play Tomb Raider, you're gonna have the same thing, and you're like, oh, I remember this random like secret here or something.
Ooh, I might, because it's like I've never gone back because it's
Yeah,
like I think there haven't been a lot of games I've gone back to specifically just because I guess I forgot I played them.
yeah.
Like, because now I'm thinking about other ones I was thinking of, and it's mostly like PlayStation 2 games. I still have my original PlayStation 2, but it makes a really loud like whirring noise now. So I'm like, we're maybe doing a different platform for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. PlayStation
still,
consoles,
it's
I
like,
feel like, are always they're very loud. Like I use my PS3 sometimes because I have like the backwards compatible PS3, so I play like a lot of
ooh,
different games on it. And like, yeah, those boys they're not quiet. Those are loud
no,
boys.
I mean, I assume maybe just like dust or something got into it, but
Probably.
also probably just like physically like reading the disc probably like does something like I don't know.
They're old. They're trying their best. Okay, they're just like struggling. They're like, why are you making us work? We're retired.
They're retired, but you know what? They still run fine.
Yeah,
So I actually kind of a real piece of work in like a good way. I don't know
yeah.
how to describe it. It's like, oh, okay, like this isn't choppy. It's not cutting. I'm like, oh, okay, because I know I did hook up my PlayStation 2 to replay something a couple years ago, just before I moved out. And it was loud as heck, obviously,
Yeah.
but it was still smooth as butter. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'll just do with this.
Yeah, it gets the job done. I feel like that's like Sony and Nintendo consoles do that, and then like you have the infamous Xboxes that just like break like crazy.
Oh yeah, that one, the red ring,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Uh,
I feel like most like I hardly like I have like my Super Nintendo that's like 30 years old now, and it works just fine. Like I feel like Nintendo and Sony, their stuff just like I don't know, the longevity is definitely there compared to maybe some other stuff.
we got that hard plastic as opposed to that like I
Whatever
don't know
they
what the newer stuff is made out of. Not
whatever Bill
so
Gates did.
soft plastic. I don't know,
Oh
but
god.
I mean, I actually do have an Xbox 360, but I only had two games on it because it was donated from a friend.
Oh yeah.
Um, that was where, yeah, that was where I played Fallout. Yeah, I played 3 and New Vegas on the 360.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think a lot
That's
of people did.
that's a lot more than a first than from just my first game, but that's kind of like my history, I guess. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, then the Wii, and then a short pivot to Xbox Land because a friend gave it to me, and
Well,
then basically PC from then on.
okay, so no, you never had a PS3.
No,
Oh
I'm
wow,
so sorry to say that.
interesting. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So for me, yeah, I had a PS1, PS2, PS3, and then I have a PS4, but I think I've probably, if I had to guess how many times I've played it, probably I don't know, like 5 times total, and I've had it since, like, it came out. So yeah, not, these days, I don't know, everything is just on PC, so I don't really I'm with you, I don't feel the need except certain games, you know, like Switch games and stuff that you can't play on the PC, but yeah, for the most part, I don't know, like on PlayStation, the games I would want to play that aren't on PC would be like Ratchet& and Clank, but even those, like, I think the newest Ratchet& and Clank game got a PC release, I think uh
The one that came with the movie?
yeah, well, no, it's like,
Came with a movie. I said like it was on the disc.
no, it's the one with the girl Rift Apart, yeah, that one,
Oh,
which I
that
think it
one.
originally came on the PS5, and now it's also on the PC, which I could buy it. It's on Steam. It's $60, which I won't be buying it for $60. But yeah, I guess
But next summer Christmas sale,
yeah,
maybe.
the list for me of games I would want to play on PlayStation that are only on PlayStation, I guess, is just very, very short. So um
Yeah, there's not part of it is this because I didn't have any money because I was like a random teenager focused on his studies. So I was like, okay, am I gonna ask for a computer which can do like everything plus play games, or am I gonna ask for a PlayStation which can only play games? And
yeah,
it never won out.
makes a lot of sense though. I mean, realistically speaking, like that's just like seems very logical to me. Um, so yeah, so I guess I'll answer the question. I've talked about it before. My first video game, the first video game I remember playing is Super Mario Brothers 3 because I had older cousins, and they had like the original Nintendo, and so I was like, whoa, like I was only like I was really really young, and just being like, whoa, like this is. You know, when you're a kid, like any video game just seems like, whoa, this is the craziest thing. Like I can't
Oh
even
yeah.
fathom, like, whoa. So, yeah, that was like the first game I played. So I guess I'm also this wasn't like the question, but like, what was the first that was your dad had the PS1, but was PS2 then the first console you had like that you got, I guess, as a gift or for, you know, for yourself or
Yeah, I asked for the PlayStation 2 after playing
right?
on the first one
Yeah,
because he had like a couple of ones, but I remember Lara Croft was one I played the most easily.
yeah,
Um, and then I asked for PlayStation 2 for Christmas. Yeah, I got as a Christmas gift, and it was
mind
very
blowing.
exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was mind blowing. I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually. Well, first of all, like I can ask for my own stuff because it's like, hey, this isn't a hand me down from my dad. This is
yeah,
like, even though yes, technically my dad bought both of them, but I was like, oh my gosh, yo, it's my own like game console,
yeah,
and it's like an actual like console,
yeah.
and
For
not Leapfrog 64.
oh god. That's funny. No, like my first experience like playing a Game Boy, like my dad had a Game Boy, so that was like my first like experience playing a handheld and yeah, it was basically like the same I guess probably like a very similar experience you're explaining. It's like it's not really mine, but like for all intents and purposes like I you know, like it wasn't mine, but it kind of was. Like I was the one playing it most of the time, so it was kind of mine, I guess, in a way, even though it wasn't mine. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, mine was mine all the time because
Yeah,
like no one
yeah,
else in my family were gamers.
yeah, yeah. I gotcha.
Meanwhile, like yeah, which is funny considering my dad had the
Yeah, he had a
PlayStation 1
PlayStation.
and
Yeah,
then he didn't like play on it, which
at
is like okay, whatever.
at a time
He
that like
tried,
people
I
didn't
guess.
have at a time that people didn't have games. Like I feel like probably like nowadays it would be more common for like you know like I don't know like whatever the generation is where they're like 10 years old right now. It'd be like you know people who aren't gamers buy consoles just because you know it's like video games are very mainstream. So like they just buy it because you know it's yeah, you know, it's just because, like, it's just a thing. Like,
Yeah.
people play video games these days. So I feel like it'd be more common. But yeah, back in the day, it was like playing video games at all was like, whoa, like you play video games? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's like, what you mean you control the characters?
Yeah,
You mean you bought a CD and you like still engage with it?
yeah.
What is this weird looking remote? And it's like the
And
controller, and
there's
you're
like
like,
and there's like the stigma, like, oh, you play video games, you must be like weird and
oh
stuff.
yeah, that was still we're still dealing with that from the
Mm-hmm.
90s.
Oh,
Although
100%.
I mean, I was never like bullied for it or anything. I was like, "Whoa, I have a PlayStation" or whatever, and then like two or three other kids in my class would be like, "Whoa, me too,"
Yeah, no,
and then that would
I
like
feel
be the end
like
of it.
yeah, I feel like it must have even been gone for my generation too, because like I vividly remember, and you're probably a little bit too young for this, but like, so Blockbuster used to rent game consoles and like the actual consoles, and when the N64 came out, it was like for my birthday, my mom was like, okay, you can rent like the N64, and I was like, and it was like the brand new console at the time, like, so it was like, holy crap, like I have a new console, like no one has this because it's like brand new, it's expensive, like no one's gonna have it at school yet. So like I remember like when I got that, like there was like 10 friends like in my room like watching me play this like new console, and it was like the cool, like, and we like like me, I hang out with like a variety of people. It wasn't like the nerdy crew or anything, it was like all kinds of like people, like the cool kids, like nerdy kid, like everyone in between. It was just like, whoa, video games, like this is freaking cool. So yeah, I feel like the stigma must be even older before my time too. Like it must be
I
quite
think that
a
was like the
while
actual
ago.
80s.
Yeah.
Like I've only seen in 80s movies, not even 90s movies. They had like, "Oh, you're a gamer," and then
Yeah.
they like look at them with the side eye. Like
Uh,
that doesn't happen. It's
wh-
only like the 80s.
which like to be fair, in their defense, like some of those 80s video games are they're not exactly visually appealing, or they don't have much substance to them. So like when video games started actually having, like there's like lore, there's like story, and there's like graphics and like all this good stuff, like I feel like that's when it became kind of like a cool thing, like whoa, these are actually like like they're not boring, like they're pretty dang cool, like that's awesome.
Yeah, I hate to like rag on them, but it's like most of the like games from like the straight up like 80s like NES, not the
Yeah,
Super NES, are all the platformer ones look the best because it's just like that's basically just regular 2D art
exactly.
versus every other genre is still like being made. So when it's stuff like Final Fantasy and you're like these are like clearly all different art assets that aren't like layered correctly and you're like I can't read this unless I've read the actual manual. It's like no, like
Yeah.
that. No, that's understandable.
And I guess like also like in general too, like I think like nerdy things kind of in general have just taken a different thing, because like like the whole, like there's the whole like I don't want to say meme, but I don't know what the thing is, but like I guess the trope that like, oh, comic books are really nerdy, but now like people, like everyone loves like Marvel movies and stuff, like the coolest people who
Yeah.
like my parents, like I guess my dad is kind of nerdy, but like I don't really like my parents are like, I would say like quote unquote cool. And even they're like, oh, Marvel movies, like that's sick, yeah. And like people I know that would be like like I don't know what the right way to say it is, but like stereotypically quote unquote cool people, like all of those people are like, yo, Marvel, that's so freaking awesome and stuff. So like I guess just a lot of stuff, the stigma of like nerdiness is just like, no, it's just like this is not like there's nothing wrong. Like it's actually kind of badass. Like sure, like maybe it's a little quote unquote nerdy, but like it's also kind of badass. So I guess maybe just the stigma is going away. I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah, I definitely never had a stigma, but on top of that, like my dad actually was a nerd, even like in the 80s sense, which is why
Yeah.
he had the PlayStation in the first place, I assume. Because he loves that Marvel is like in theaters now with like big budgets and everyone's talking
Yeah.
about them. Because he owns like some of the comics
Yeah.
and he like read them as a kid and he was like, oh, I loved seeing this as I was as a kid or something.
Yeah. No,
And
that's cool.
so that's kind of one of the few things that I do like about going to Marvel with them sometimes because it's one of the few like it's a blockbuster movie, it appeals to everyone. Like,
Yeah.
oh, what are we gonna hang out? Let's watch a Marvel movie. Like, has basically something for everyone.
Yeah.
And so for some of the more classic ones, I think he was more of a DC guy regardless, but he still read a couple of Marvel. He wasn't like on a specific side. He'd be like, "Oh, I don't remember it going like this, or they changed it like this,"
Hmm.
and it'd be kind of like a bonus trivia thing that would be on the car ride home.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah, like having someone who's like knowledgeable about it. That's really cool.
Yeah, and that's why I still kind of like even if sometimes we don't like always totally understand it because it's like the same thing about like oh it's totally different generations or whatever.
Yeah.
It's still interesting that like it still kind of transcends like it still kind of transcends that
Generations,
like
yeah.
yeah, because now you've got people like him can't bond with even like whatever kid just goes to like the movie theater because they both like Marvel,
Yeah.
and they're still like generally the same character. Like, sure, they've changed it to fit the movie, but
Yeah,
I
and
don't know. I think
I feel like,
yeah,
and I feel like people who even like maybe it's like a little different. Like I feel like people are very open to like having that conversation. Like probably like the newer generation of Marvel fans would be like, oh, like that's cool. Like that's so that's how you interpret it, like or like whatever, and like oh, like here's how like the newer like just sharing their kind of like I don't know like how they interpreted this or like how they see this or whatever, and like I feel like it's yeah like you said it's just like a good thing to bond over like with people that normally might not have like for example with your dad like people that might not have anything in common with him in general would have like a something that they could like talk about so
so yeah, the stereotype of like the video gamer being some like cringy like joke is like not only like un well I yes unfounded, but also like it's not just like discredited, it's like buried. Like that's not like nerd culture is the culture now.
yeah
And so it's like I've never had a problem with it, both because I'm like just younger and it's taken like it's born in between, I guess, as opposed to before and after. But
yeah
also just like I was in a nerdy family, so I've never received flack for that.
no that's really cool. Yeah, I would say my yeah, like my dad was like he worked in computers like starting in the 80s, so like his whole life. So like I never, thankfully there was never like oh, you spend a lot of time on computers or anything like that. Like my mom was already used to it like oh yeah, like another like oh, of course you're going to be into computers too like dad, like that makes sense. And like my dad was like the one encouraging me like oh, you're getting a new PC like or like yo, you're gonna let me help you build like my dad like for the most part like my first PCs like he built all of them. So
Yo,
it was like yo yeah you want to get a PC yeah like yeah go like let's buy these things and then like I'll set it up like I'll put it together for you like yeah so yeah I feel like I mean I avoided that stigma too and like my parents were they were never like super into console gaming for example but like I still like to this day like I like I'll like a game that I played on stream that I'm talk about a lot that I'm really fond of is like Donkey Kong Country the trilogy and like my mom played that a lot with me and so like even to this day it'll be like when they come over like I'll boot up some old games and like I remember one of the first times when I moved into the house here like you've seen my house but like the like we've got the little like loft area and like I remember sitting up here and like playing like old consoles with my parents and we were just like chilling and it was like yeah it's like a throwback like playing old console games with your parents so yeah it's pretty cool stuff.
oh, everything okay?
Yeah no I toppled something on my desk. That's funny that it was actually loud enough but yeah no I think
Oh, you're good.
that's I like that we went on like a that's a very tangent from what the actual question was about our
That's
first game.
yeah. That wasn't even the whole question, right? That was just the first
Yeah,
question,
that's the
the
first
first half
part.
of
The
it.
second part says we'll get into it says which I think this will be a topic you like to talk about. It says what is a game that had a big lasting impression on you? So I mean you said Tomb Raider but like what I guess I guess you can if you want to say like older ones, newer ones or maybe like both like some newer ones or some older ones that had a big impression on you. I'd be curious to hear the older ones like you said Tomb Raider but like maybe some other games that like as a child like really developed your love for video games because obviously you're very passionate about video games like you want to like work in game dev and stuff so I'd be curious yeah to know what games kind of spawned that love.
Oh man, this is such a difficult one.
That's
I
hard
guess
yeah.
I have games that I like, but they didn't really make an impact on me when I'm like thinking about something. I think honestly the one and I Tomb Raider I say definitely left some impressions on me, but
Hmm.
it's like I didn't experience it like intentionally, and it wasn't like, and it was mostly just me having like a fun playground more than anything.
Yeah
Maybe just like Like I guess I could maybe say that directly is like, oh, that's why I like the wide open, like fun exploration like
Sure,
games where it's
yeah.
like I don't even have any like goal, I just explore it.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I'd have to say Persona.
Yeah, okay.
It was that was I think that series took up basically I it was in the last year of high school and like Persona 5 like either had just released or released like a month or so. It was really new. And
Mm.
so that entire year, I think I spent playing Persona. And that had just I just remember I can't remember much of my game taste before then. And I feel so bad that because Undertale is like included in there. But I was like I was a dumb, moody teenager who like did not like as much as I love Undertale now for all of its like everything basically. When I first played it, it did not leave an impression on me. I
Oh, wow.
liked it like well enough, but like after a month, I was like, okay, on to the next game.
Yeah.
But like Persona took up basically my entire year, and then I don't think I've gone long without thinking about it.
Mhm.
Mostly just like in 100 different ways. I'm mostly just like part of it is he just like me for real and like playing as like a college like I was out of leaving high school going into college, so it's like well I have free time and I can well the superhero like high schooler like dichotomy that's present in the games. But also I guess just like that's the first time like I've spent a lot of time with the game because they are very very long. Like
Mhm.
the I said I think oh yeah that was also the other night where it was we were watching
Diamonds.
Diamond
Yeah.
play Persona 3 and I was like, oh, this is the shortest one. And then you're like, haha, short. And then it was 80 hours. I was like,
Yeah.
no, yeah. The others are like 100
Yeah,
plus.
he was like, "Oh, is it so this is short?" And I'm like, that is not what he meant,
No,
Diamond."
that's not what I meant. It is shortest. That does not mean it is short. But it was mostly just like I guess with what characters and stories and in addition to trying to apply them to real life, since that was kind of what I was almost focusing on in college was definitely an educational bent to it where it they have something called like the Tetris effect where it's like you play a bunch of Tetris and then you're like, oh my gosh, I have to fill like I have to organize everything so perfectly or something.
Uh-huh.
Or they'll recognize like parts of Tetris that like are like applicable to like real life. Persona was exactly the same to that. And I don't want to say I'm saying the subtext. I'm just gonna say it out loud. Gaining social skills and learning how to balance my schedule from Persona because that's literally like half the gameplay is like one half you have to deal with all of your social stuff and then the second part is having to deal with like the superhero like fantasy part of it.
Yeah.
But I was always more interested in the like in the daily life sim stuff where it's like, okay, who am I going to meet with today? And but how am I also going to fit in like school studies with that? And also fit in like well the protagonists have like hobbies, but you still manage like other stats that like help you.
Yeah.
And it was like I hate to say that it's if I don't know what I'm doing or what I want to do, I kind of just fall back on treating it like Persona, where I'm like, okay, we're gonna get rid of everything. If you could only do two things today, because it's very funny, you can only do two things per day, even if it's just going to like a coffee shop. You're like, nope, that's my whole day. Not like an hour, it's a whole day. And I'm like, okay, what's one thing? If I could only do one thing today, what would that be? And I have to like organize it like correctly.
Yeah.
And thinking about like, oh, um I should actually interact and like maintain like being social with other people since I was very I hate to say shy since I had like well enough social skills but like I was very reactive I
Mhm.
think is the best way to say it where it was like people would invite me out to places but like I would never invite people I would never make anything together when you were saying stuff like oh, I go home and like I bring like my posse of like a mixture of kids to like go play like games in the living room. Like that did not happen. I got invited to those
Yeah, that's
like once or
valid.
twice. And then I never like even though I absolutely had the like capability of doing that because
Yeah.
I had games, I had whatever. Or it would just be per like class and then if it wasn't in class and it wasn't we pre agreed upon it I was like I would just not even think about it. It was very like very like whatever the opposite. It's like object permanence. Yeah, it was like if I'm not speaking to you, you don't like exist,
Yeah.
which sounds really mean, but it was like that's how it was. And
Right.
then I hate to say it, like I had to play a JRPG to learn how to get my life together. But that was kind of it. I was like, how am I going to balance my calendar year? Because I only have so many days and I can't maximize everything. And it was a real uptick in like productivity and figuring out what the heck do I want to focus on in my life.
No, that's really cool,
So,
actually. Yeah. So,
yeah. And
see,
on top
video
of
games
that,
are
doing that every
educational.
day. Video games are educational and sometimes not in a academic sense, but sometimes in just like a life skills sort of sense.
I mean, honestly, life skills, it's kind of cliche to say, but like a lot of the time, those life skills are like way more important than most things in school that probably aren't relevant to you at all anymore. But like having social skills is still relevant and will always be relevant to some extent. So, it is what it is, I guess.
No, absolutely. Especially when like there's kind of that soft reset when you're done with high school, like people move away and go to their
Oh,
like
yeah.
preferred college. But like I'm still in touch with people after college because we like have like adult lives now.
Yeah.
But kind of having that reset was really helpful. Where it's like, oh, I see. So that was a little bit of a long-winded tangent. But I mean, that was the question. Was a long-lasting impact? I was like, yeah, it kind of helped me get my entire life together and think about how I'm gonna organize like my time.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of
Uh,
sense, and it's interesting. You mentioned the like me like being the type like inviting people over and all that stuff, and I get where you're coming from as well because like I'm like me being like the extroverted, super extroverted guy. Like I do invite people to stuff and things like that, but I also like, especially in this day and age, like I like the feeling of just like, oh, like if someone invites me to do something, like it's way less effort. Like I understand like the effort, even for someone like me that goes into like setting something up like that, like asking people, like the mental effort that goes into that. So like I also appreciate the fact when like in this day and age when I'm naturally kind of like the leader type, but I also appreciate when I can just be like the follower, like, yeah, like, hey, we're doing this, like you should come along. And I'm like, cool, like I don't have to plan that or like be in charge of that. Like I can just chill. So I definitely see the appeal in that. I guess it's just kind of a random point you made that stood out to me, but yeah,
I mean, yeah, because I mean, I don't know a lot about like how you conducted yourself as a kid.
yeah,
Um, so I was
but
just like, oh well, if he invited a bunch of the cool kids over, he was the cool kid that held all the hip parties.
yeah. I mean, I feel I did do that, but I also appreciated like it's kind of like I guess it's something that stuck with me throughout my life is that like I am the leader, but sometimes I also just like I like being a follower. Like, I talk about it before, but I've like been the captain of sports teams and esports teams and all these different things. But like I also really enjoy sometimes when I can like take my foot off the gas and just be the follower and I don't have to be the leader or like put in all that much effort. So I definitely enjoy the appeal of just like being able to take it easy and just like getting invited to things and stuff like that. So definitely. But yeah, I'll answer. I guess for me, I've talked about it a lot before. Um, my the video game that has probably the biggest impact on me, at least as a kid, was Chrono Trigger, which I've talked about a lot. Just as far as like, it was kind of the first game that I played that really portrayed an adventure. Like we talked about platformers earlier, and like my first games were like Mario 3 and Super Mario World, stuff like that, like wonderful, incredible games. But just platformers, they're not exactly an adventure per se. So playing Chrono Trigger for the first time was just like getting to experience a real adventure. Like it felt epic. Like there was like music that made you feel things, there was dialogue that made you feel things, like all this different stuff that in this day and age, like we play games all the time that like make us feel things and whatnot. um but like back in the day, at least for me at that time, I couldn't fathom like playing a game that made me like feel all these emotions. So it was really cool. And yeah, I mean, needless to say, it stuck with me still. I talk about this way too much, but like it's like it inspired me to write a novel, like all this stuff. So yeah, that's really the number one game that inspired me. But I think um, it's tough to say, right? Because like there's different kinds of inspiration, and like you can be inspired by something like Chrono Trigger to, for example, write a novel or something like that. But you can also just be inspired to love the medium of video games from something that's just, not necessarily epic or anything. It's just like fun. Like I had a lot of fun playing Super Mario World. So that inspired me to love video games because it was really fun. Um, so yeah, I guess there's just different kinds of inspiration, which I think is kind of neat. And I guess probably it's similar for you, Utterly. You have like Persona that kind of inspired a lot. Inspired you in a kind of different way, but then you have something like like you were talking about Tomb Raider, something like that that probably just as a kid inspired you to say, "Whoa, video games are pretty dang cool. Like this is awesome. Like I want to play more video games. This is really fun."
Oh yeah, I mean, there's different types of inspiration.
Yeah.
I'm obviously the first thing I think of is like inspiration is sort of like a life sense, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Mhm.
there's certainly other types where, like yours, where it was like the medium as a whole. Like, oh, this is its own separate like medium that has its own unique like way of telling stories and
Yeah.
actually letting the player interact with that. And
Exactly.
I think it's really interesting how well games can tell their stories in a way that like books and movies and the like can't. And
Yeah.
I think some people still haven't even like figured that out. They're still like, oh, every game is like, some JRPG, insert Genshin Impact. That's the most popular one I could think of. So it's like, like whatever the game of the year is, and it's like, no, this is like a medium. Like there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
And so I
Uh,
guess it sounds like that was kind of what Chrono Trigger was for you.
yeah, and talk going back to that, like it's interesting that yeah, a lot of people haven't gotten to experience that, and like I feel like it's a pretty safe thing to say that like pretty much anyone enjoys stories in some sense, whether that be like books or they like movies or TV shows, like everything is like a story, right? So I feel like, yeah, like you kind of said, people just maybe haven't played a video game that made them see like the stories that can be told in video games. And like, I think if they did, like, there's video game stories of like all different kinds and like, just like, oh, like I like, mystery movies. Well, there's like games that would scratch that same itch, or like, just as like a random example, like, like a cool kind of like, and I say cool all the time. Just, think of your like dude bro and like your dude bro who
That's because
like,
games are cool.
yeah, like you like your dude bro, right? He's probably never played or he maybe even heard of or like knows what Phoenix Wright is, for example. But like dude bro really likes lawyer stuff, for example. Like he likes Better Call Saul, like that's a pretty like a show that like normal people like like bro type people would like or could like. But something like that, right? Like they're never probably gonna know Phoenix Wright. That's kind of like a niche, nerdy kind of game, sort of, right? So, but like if they knew that existed, they would probably love it, right? But it's just like, yeah, a lot of people just aren't familiar because they're, I guess, maybe in a way, there is still that kind of stigma behind, like, I mean, certain games, like just to go back to that example, Phoenix Wright was released on like the DS. Like, oh, that's a baby system. Like, I'm a cool guy. I play Madden and stuff. Like, I'm not gonna play like like a Nintendo baby console. But like, there's games that would appeal to them, for example. So I don't know. It's just interesting to think about.
Yeah, I don't think any of them have to be like some massive blockbuster. It can still be something where it's like, oh, this is like some small game that like really appeals to like what specific the person is. Where
Yeah,
especially with how indie games have become so popular now and
yeah.
they're so like easy to create and distribute. It's like this is a game for an extremely specific person,
Yeah.
but like that person's gonna love it.
Oh, yeah, and that person exists, and a lot of those people exist. So that's kind of the cool thing that, like, you can play a game and you can feel like they're talking to you, like, "This was made for me," but, I mean, it wasn't directly made for you, but in a way, it was made for you, so, it's really cool for sure.
Yeah. I think that's probably why the stigma kind of has gone away a little bit, probably because so many games don't have to I guess, pander to such a large audience anymore,
Yeah.
since they can just accept their niche.
Yeah. They can be themselves, which is pretty dang cool. All right. Well, I think we did pretty good on that question. Are you
Yeah.
satisfied?
I'm hoping there's not a third part that we didn't answer as well. I
No,
was like, oh my
that's
gosh,
it.
we only got two parts of that question.
No, we got it. We nailed it real good. So perfect. Alrighty. Next question up. It says, and this is, I guess if there's a specific question to one of us, I'll just say it. But this, I guess, just seems like a general question, so I'll let you answer first. Um, when you have a long, it doesn't say bad, but I guess I'm kind of interpreting like it says, when you have a long day, what do you like to do to unwind when you're feeling tired, stressed, etc. I'll let you go first and give your thoughts.
Oh.
I mean, I'm guessing I know the answer. I'm guessing it probably a lot of the time plays into maybe video games and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because a lot
maybe
of,
this is a very video game centric episode.
yeah,
I mean, it's certainly. I think the worst part is sometimes I'm just like not even up for games,
yeah, you just want
where
to
I'm
like
like,
veg
I
out.
don't. Yeah, I mean, the worst part is, I mean, I'm not as bad as being like, oh, I go on my phone and scroll.
Yeah,
Like I'm not. I've never gotten that bad before. A lot of times I do specifically try and sleep, since at least for me, or like a nap, I guess.
hmm,
Since at least for me, it's usually something that like resets me, where it's like if I'm angry and like I'm gonna be angry for like the rest of the day. But like if I'm angry and then take a nap, I have that sort of like brain fog where I kind of forget I'm angry. I can kind of
yeah,
like reboot myself. So usually, I guess technically it's part sleep in a nap kind of way,
yeah,
and part like podcasts, since usually that's what I do to like, because I don't like just like sitting in my bed like fuming or being
yeah.
angry or sad or something. So I'm like, I hate to say it, usually it's some kind of distraction or
Yeah.
some kind of reset, which is definitely not the most helpful answer.
No, I mean, I think
If
that's
it
I
was
no, I
like,
think that's a great answer. I mean, I think that a lot of people probably do similar things, a distraction. I think it's really interesting. Like, I'm not a nap guy at all. I don't ever, pretty much almost never nap. But that's kind of interesting to think about it in like that perspective you just gave, is using it as kind of like a reset. Because yeah, as a non-napper, I never really thought about that. But yeah, it's kind of like a reset. That's interesting.
yeah, I mean, if you don't nap, I mean, I assume you're the one who's gonna have the answer. That's like you go play video games.
I mean, honestly, for me, maybe. I don't really have a super complex answer, but I mean, ideally, it'll just be vegging out, whether that be, and I don't like sleep or something, but I'll veg out. I'll sit on my PC and watch, a video, or I'll maybe play a game, depending how I'm feeling. I think it really depends, but a lot of the time, and I'm kind of guilty of the I don't know if it's like short attention span these days, but like a lot of the time for me, it'll be um, like playing a game and watching something. Like I'll just be chilling on my PC and watching whatever and playing whatever on the side. Like maybe I'll play Balatro and watch a YouTube video, or I'll watch a stream or something like that. So I definitely, and I guess it also depends what kind of mood you're into. Like I know you a lot of the time, at least late at night, or sometimes other times you'll be like, you'll watch a stream. And I tend to do the same thing sometimes, but I guess it depends. Like if you're in more of like I'm tired, but I want to socialize kind of mood, maybe watching a stream, versus just like I don't want to do anything. Like I just want to veg out kind of thing. Um, so yeah, I guess I don't really have a consistent answer. I just kind of and I guess your answer was kind of similar in terms of like not really a specific one singular thing. It's just kind of whatever. See what kind of sounds good to me at the time. Which yeah, for me is not napping, but it could be watching a show, or watching a stream, or um, just hanging out, petting my dog, whatever it may be. So yeah, there's a few different good options, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I do that too. Because sometimes if I have, that's usually not my long day. That's usually my like normal day. Like I
Yeah.
get home and I'll listen to like a 5 hour like YouTube video about like the secret lore of the Teletubbies or something, and then like play like a bunch of Splatoon, and like
Yeah.
but that's like a normal day. That's not if I've had a long
Oh,
day. If
okay,
I've
I
had a long
gotcha.
day, I'm absolutely tired, and I'm like I need both energy and also I need to like just forget, I guess, what I'm feeling.
Yeah. And I guess I'll just be completely honest, and this is not a healthy thing, but like I feel like all my days are long. I do a lot. Like my first free time of most days is like 8 or 9 p.m. and I go to bed at 10. So
Oh
it's not
God.
like that's just a normal day. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's my norm, but it's also what I do in a long day because most of the days are long.
No. Oh my
But
goodness. You need some
you
work-life
know,
balance.
maybe I mean, it's just unfortunately I have a great work-life balance with my job. I do not work ever more than 40 hours. I do not let them take advantage of me. But unfortunately, the other responsibilities in life, they require um my regular attention. So it is what it
Yeah, and
is.
it's ugh.
I mean,
Yeah. And I mean it
I don't
sounds
even know if
like
it's like a we call it a long day. For me, it's just a day. It's just a normal day. So, but that's how I like to unwind after a long, which most days are long, but that's also the norm. So I guess after a long normal day, I like to unwind, maybe play a game or watch something or just kind of chill, veg out a little bit.
yeah. I mean it also sounds like it might just be like your shift time, I guess, where it's like I literally have a normal 9 to 5. Like that's
Right.
literally the time slot that I'm like signed up for.
Yeah.
So I'm like in sync with a lot of people. So it's like, oh, if I want to chill, well, hey, there's like 10 different people who also just got off of work who
Yeah.
want to like chill or do
That's
something.
true.
Versus it's like something that's a little bit more independent, I guess, where it's like, oh hey, I need to like veg out. It's like, yeah, if it's 8 o'clock, like most people have kind of they've wound down from their workday or
Yeah.
something.
And I mean, I guess that's just like a challenge for me is like like most I on days I either have my stream or I talk to my parents on Wednesdays, and then like I make dinner and then I clean up and then I walk Jacks, and so then it's like I have all these things that kind of are locked in. You know what I mean? Like they're not really, none of those things are like things that I can just be like, oh, like it's 6 o'clock and that's when everyone's online, so I should avoid these things. Like they're all pretty unavoidable things. Like I mean, I guess at most like today I'm doing the podcast right now. So normally I would be eating dinner, but instead I'm doing the podcast. So like I guess I'm pushing things back a little bit. So like when we finish up, then I'll go eat dinner and I'll walk Jacks. So I guess at most I can push it back a little bit, but there are things that, I don't know about anyone else, but me, I'm a hungry boy, man. I got to eat my dinner.
No, that was me. I had an early dinner before doing the podcast because I'm like I've seen your episodes. I've listened to almost to most of them,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, it's like 2 hours. Like, oh, bestie, I need to eat before this.
Yeah, 100%. Well, for me, it was like I was like I had like a snack before because I was like, yeah, like it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Like really not gonna eat dinner right now, but I also know that like by the time everything's said and done, I'll be hungry. So have a snack. It's a good, responsible thing to do. Yay, snacks.
The snack that smells back.
Yeah, goldfish. So I hope
Yummers.
mystery person, I hope we answered your question, but like I guess it depends. For me anyway, I never really have a consistent like one singular thing. And it sounds like for you it's also a similar thing where you have different strategies depending on kind of I guess what kind of long day it was or what emotions you're feeling from that long day. Um
Yeah, it's definitely a per day sort of thing.
yeah.
And a long day for me might be different for someone else. It's like a
Sure.
long day for me is if I've had to talk with my coworkers a bunch. I'm like, I will not be watching any streams. I will not be on Discord. I will
Yeah.
be taking a nap or something. Versus
Yeah.
if it's been a long day because I've sat in my office and been filling out like forms for 9 hours straight. I'm like, oh my gosh, I
Like
need like human interaction
yeah.
now. And
Yeah.
I'm on all the things.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think it's just yeah, it's kind of important, and I've kind of had a similar. Someone's asked like a similar question to this before, and I think really at the end of the day, what is just most important is what I would say for advice is like find the right thing for you because like what works for others might not work for you. Like Otterly straight up said, like I take naps, and I know for me, like if I said, oh, let me take, like I don't like naps, don't make me feel good. I don't like naps. So for me, that wouldn't be good advice, right? But like there's other things that work well for me. So I would say just kind of focus on finding what works for you. Try different things. Like say like for like hey, like I'm feeling this emotion, so let me try this, and just kind of don't be afraid to see what works for you, because I know it can be scary, like feeling those emotions. So don't be afraid to see what works for you, and just try things out until you feel, until you see what works for you, that makes you feel better, and then hooray, like you have something awesome that can help you in the future. So yeah, I think it's really helpful to just try things out.
Yeah, this kind of carries on with like my previous answer, where it's like it really just depends on what counts as the long day.
Yeah,
Where it's like, what am I like low in right now? I hate
yeah,
to say it, but like The Sims, where they have a bunch of different like bars of like what they need, and there's like, do I just feel like gross and like sweaty because I've been like outside all day, and I'm gonna go take like a bath or a shower or
yeah,
something. Or if it's like I haven't talked to another human being all day, then like I'm gonna go do that. So it's
yeah,
like it is a lot of it is just like taking stock
yeah.
of what exactly happened, and what's your deficiency, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. Yeah. And I think it's also important, I guess I would just note as well, like you shouldn't like don't feel like obligated. Like some people, like after, like no matter what the kind of long day, as just as an example, like maybe that person just doesn't want to interact with others. So like I would say just like caution someone listening, like don't feel like, oh, like it's weird or it's wrong, like if I don't want to talk to people after my long day. No, that's totally normal. Like I have long days where I'm just like, I don't want to talk to anyone right now. I just want to like chill and like please, I hope no one messages me anywhere, because I just want to like vibe and like unwind. So I guess that would be my thing to like just kind of mention, like don't feel bad if like you think you should have a particular response to like a particular emotion. It's all about what works for you. So yeah, you shouldn't feel bad if it doesn't match up to what quote unquote think it should.
Yeah, emotions, they don't have like they're not straightforward. I mean,
Yeah,
well, it's like the most classic like back and forth of like, oh, what's my logic versus what's my emotion, and
yeah,
and they're kind of inherently unpredictable, I guess.
yep,
So it does kind of just depend on what they are at whatever their specific time.
yep, exactly. So alrighty,
So we hope
I
that helped.
yeah, I think we answered that pretty well. So yeah, just find what works for you. I've talked about that a lot before, so hopefully the person will find something that works well for them, because it can take trying a lot of different things, but I think you'll find something that works for you in time. All right. This is kind of an interesting question. This says, to both of you, what made you start watching slash start streaming on Twitch? Was it a particular person or a particular thing that you were trying to watch, or was it just more in a general sense? So I think I maybe know your answer, but I will let you answer in your way, and then I'll answer mine.
Oh yeah, mine is so easy because it was literally last year.
Yep.
Hasn't even been a year yet. So I never got into like Twitch like before like last year. It was specifically because of Orca,
Yeah.
because he made an announcement and he was like, "Hey everyone, I'm going to start and try streaming." And I was like, this was right after I kind of like accepted myself as like a furry, and I was like, I have no furry friends, and like I don't want to be like online just kind of like, I don't say I was shy, but it's like being online, like I'm supposed to reach out how?
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, like, okay, here's a one-to-one, well, like not a parasocial way of like, oh, like here's like the people in chat, and we all have like one thing we like his writing, and then whatever, like, the usual memes of like a streamer. And so like I've watched stuff, like the really popular streamers are like Jerma and like Vine Sauce, but like I
Yeah.
don't catch their streams. I've caught their like clips on like
Yeah.
YouTube. Like I don't watch their streams. But like there's obviously like a community around them. And so I thought sort of the same thing would like apply here. And it kind of did. Since he made the Discord server shortly after, and then I don't know exactly if when or if you talked with Orca like right before he started streaming, or
Uh,
if like something happened between the
yeah,
first
he
stream.
he he had talked. I didn't know when he started streaming, but he had been in my, and I think he has said before that that like um he like, oh, right, you like recognize me as like a regular, because he was like a regular-ish person in my chat. Um and yeah, so he was like a regular-ish person in my chat. He was not, I don't, the first time he was ever in my chat, he definitely was not streaming yet. So yeah, so he was just like a person in my chat, and then at some point he started streaming, and I didn't even like, if you're not like, I didn't follow his work or anything, so I didn't know that I didn't know who he was. His name was, at the time, his name in my chat was the squishiest one. And so I
The
like saw,
squishiest one that
yeah,
tracks,
so
but still.
I saw him like in my chat a lot, and he commented, he was like, "Oh, it made me feel good because like you started like recognizing me, because yeah, he came to my chat a lot and be like, oh, hey again, Squishy, like welcome, or whatever, like hey." And so he was like, yeah, that was cool, like I like you recognize me and stuff. And so yeah, I wasn't yeah, like we hadn't ever had a one-on-one conversation before he streamed, but we had communicated via my stream. Um,
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's. It sounds like we went on the exact same path. Where it's just like, I was just a regular in the chat, and then it's suddenly just like, oh well, since you're here like all the time, like I get used to your like messages, and then you joined their Discord server, and then of course that was brand new, so it was like it was so easy to fit in because there wasn't like a culture established like culture yet,
Yep.
because like that's a huge problem with discords or like any community really, where it's like, okay, here's general with all the new people, and like what am I just gonna like put like my introduction like hi everyone, like no, that's so it feels so awkward to do
I
that.
feel that, yeah.
And so I mean, that was what got me interested in like I guess just Twitch in general.
Yeah,
Whereas like, oh, and then like the classic, oh, they raid out, and then now you have a free in for like talking to the next streamer, and that just kind of
exactly.
like compounds. Um, as for actually getting into streaming, it's a very me way where it was because of me trying to make a little like a I've been working on this for like months, but it was this like Balatro bot thing where it's like, oh, you can do like Twitch commands for it, because I thought that would be like a cool idea. And then, but I have to stream to like test it, obviously.
Yeah.
And so at first, I just did that on my own. Like I would just start the stream. It wouldn't have any data. Sometimes I wouldn't like at the first ones. I didn't even have um Oh no, you still had to record something. So it would just be like a completely silent stream. But then people would just like pop in because like y'all like are nice enough to like follow like people back, just like even as a like just like
Yeah,
a
people
kind
that don't
gesture.
even
And so
stream.
people would they would get the notification and be like, oh hey Otterly, like what are you up to? I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm just testing things. And so then like my chat would get so like filled with just regular conversation. I'm like, okay, let me like I guess I'll plug in this old like headset mic that I got for Christmas, and just like start talking to people. And then it became a lot of fun since it's not like my first time like working on a project with like in front of other people, because I do that with friend groups. Like I'm in discords where it's like, okay, this is just like the chill out room, and then I hang out with like it's mostly like artists, so
Yeah.
it's like everyone has a different stream of like their art, and we all just kind of like parallel play, I guess. So it was kind of the same thing as that. And so this time with a little bit more like, oh, interactivity, because eventually they'd have like, people post like emotes or they do like bot commands or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like snowballed into, well, I guess I'm a streamer now.
That's funny.
It was very
No,
funny.
I think that's interesting, and I say to a lot of people, like, I think like Twitch is one of the best ways to make friends. Like it is, like I'm from an area of privilege in the sense that like I'm pretty well known, and so like it is easier for me. Like whatever chat I go in, people know me and stuff. Like I don't know how to get around saying that, but like yeah, people know me around places. But like even if you're like a random person and like I think you can even attest from my community, like you were just a random person joining mine, and like you made a lot of friends in our community who now like you see them around other chats and like they're like, OMG, it's Otterly and stuff. So like it is Twitch is such a fantastic tool to make friends. Like if you're lonely, like start watching streams and interacting with the community, and like you can cure that loneliness, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. It like I said, it just compounds where it's
Yeah.
just like at first you raid into like whoever, and then you get your free pass into like you being a regular in this person's chat,
Yep.
and then all the people in both chats, they start recognizing each other, and then it just becomes a giant web
Yeah.
basically. And that
100%.
that was exactly what happened with me.
And yeah, I mean,
Like I
I
still
see it
yeah.
now. Yeah, like you're in other chats, and like Maple will like say like OMG, like Otterly and stuff, and like you're like well known around like all with like I don't want to say, but like relatively pretty famous, well known streamers are just like they see you around, they know you, and like and yeah, it's a cool thing.
Oh yeah. So I'm kind of interested to see what your because that it's only been like a year, so it's like obviously it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
But it's like I know you've been streaming for a couple of years, so I guess
Yeah, a couple.
how was yours?
Well, let me reread the question to make sure I answer. Okay, so streaming on Twitch. Okay, so it says on Twitch because I've talked about it a lot. My first streams were on other sites that do not exist, that are not Twitch. Back in
Wow.
like 2009 was the first ever time I live streamed. So for me, I've talked about it a lot before, but like I don't remember what it's like to not stream because I've always streamed, in some sense. So for me, uh, well, the question says what made you start to live stream on Twitch, and that was in 2019. And the reason was literally just because this place is more popular, so I should probably. And for a while, I was like stubborn, like I was streaming my games on Picardo, because I liked the UI of Picardo more. I just liked the site more. So I stream there because who cares? Like I'm not doing it to be famous or anything. So why not choose the site that I like the UI better, and that I just am more comfortable streaming on? Like, why wouldn't I? So I did that for a long time, and then it was just like at some point I was like, okay, uh, everyone's on Twitch, so I should get on Twitch because, at some point you're just like you feel like you're missing out. You're like everyone is on this site, like I should just get on this site, even if I think, this other site is a little more like the UI is a little better or whatever, or I just like this site more for whatever reason. Like even if that's true, I should, we gotta conform, so let's conform with everyone else and let's join Twitch. So yeah, then I joined Twitch, and then now we're here. So yeah, I guess that
Yeah.
I guess that for me it was just a matter of being stubborn for a while, um, and then eventually saying, you know what, everyone's here, I need to be here too. So then I was there because I want to fit in with the cool kids.
No, I definitely get it because I've seen a couple of people like try and do both, but like it's clearly Twitch always wins out.
Twitch
So it's
wins
like
everything.
yeah.
Twitch is a monopoly. I mean, I guess you could
It's
also
got Bezos money.
yeah,
Like yeah, you can't yeah.
like you could stream on YouTube or something, I guess, like a YouTube stream, but like like a normal person like you or I couldn't just like go get started on that, right? Like maybe if you're like Germa, you have the privilege of like I'm
Oh
famous, I
yeah.
can go to whatever site I want. But like a normal person like you or I doesn't really have that option if they want anyone to watch, which that's the goal, at least having a couple people there to hang out so you're not like alone. Otherwise, you know, we're not like it doesn't matter how many
Yeah.
viewers you have, but at least you want like a couple people. Otherwise, what's the point of even streaming if there's no one there? You might as well just play the game on your own, or like code on your own, or do whatever. So you want someone
Yeah,
there.
part of the point is like the interactivity. That's what I
Yeah,
liked about it. Where I was
yeah,
like, oh, I'm no longer just like coding this in my bedroom whenever. Now I'm like coding this like at a specific time so I can like talk with people while I do it.
yeah, and
Even if it's not like specific to what I was doing.
yeah, a hundred
Still fun
percent.
just to have other people.
100%. And yeah, for me the first reason like the why I got into streaming like way back in the day was just because I like the ability to to talk to a lot of people. Like I've talked about it before, but like I'm that sick guy who like I love like public speaking, like getting to do speeches and stuff in school. I was always the kid like, oh hell yes, I'm excited for this, which some people cannot fathom and think that's psychopathic behavior, which valid. But I love that. So the opportunity to talk to a lot of people and like just have a conversation, like not necessarily a conversation, well, kind of a conversation, but just like to be able to talk to a lot of people at the same time is like so fun to me. I love talking. So that was the appeal for me to just to have an opportunity to like, get a bunch of people in a room here and let me talk to them. And so I was able to do that, and yeah, it's very very enjoyable to me. Still is, and I didn't start out as like a game streamer back in the day. Like I was just like a just chatting streamer, and even when I started streaming, nowadays, it's funny, like I've talked about this and you might not know this because you're newer to the community, but I talk about it a lot. But like my original vibe, like part of the thing that I was going to start streaming, and I used to stream a lot in Picardo, was poker tournaments, which is not, it's not the Raichu vibe that where I'm like all hyper and high energy and stuff. It was just like a very chill, like calm. And I always like the way I saw myself as a streamer was like the ultra super chill, like just like vibing streamer. Which obviously I'm not. That is not me. I have evolved out
Yeah,
of
not
that.
anymore.
I have evolved out of that. But like, yeah, that was kind of how I originally saw my stream going. Um, and so, yeah, it's kind of interesting, I guess, how your own perceptions can kind of change or kind of, in time just kind of differ um, from how maybe you thought they would. So, yeah, I guess for me, I've just always enjoyed the public speaking aspect. Let me see if there's any. Yeah. So for me, I would say it's just in general. I guess that's interesting that Otterly's answer is more of a specific person, and mine is more of a general sense of that I just like being able to talk to people. But I guess that's why you started streaming, because you wanted to be able to talk to people and interact with people, kind of.
Yeah, because the interactivity is what like makes streaming fun,
Yeah.
especially from a. I mean, I again, it's fresh in my mind because it's less than a year old. But it's
Yeah.
like from a viewer perspective, I really love being able to talk to the person as they're playing,
Hmm.
and then like get their insight into whatever. And then also, and Orca, at least specifically, getting to mess with them with like
Yeah.
100 billion redeems. But even as a streamer, it's like, oh, this is like, it feels like you kind of have like a half of a friend group, kind of,
Oh, I
where it's
mean,
like I
you
know things
literally
are.
do have a friend
Yeah.
group. I mean, like my community that I've built is like they're most of them are like my closest friends. Like the people that I would like if I was, gonna hang out with someone, most of them are people from my streaming community, or like, for the most part, like the people that are closest to my life are the people that watch my stream, that because that's like a big part of my life. And so yeah, I think that's just kind of natural that like those kind of people, like you're like think of like all, for example, in your life, I don't know how it would match up, but like for me, a lot of my community has been watching me twice a week every single week for the last 5 years without a break. So you can obviously see like that is way more time than you spend with like your average, like you say like your normie friend, or like your other friends outside of streaming, right? Like that is way more than your time than you're spending with most people. So it's kind of natural that they just become like the most kind of friend, the most, I don't want to say most important, but like the most prevalent, I guess, friends in your life in that sense.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's when you have like normie friends, you're like, do you want to hang out? And then you're like, well, what do you want to do? Because you can't just like
Yeah.
you can't be kids, and you can't just like invite you over to like each other's house. You have to be like, well, I guess we'll go like thrift shopping or something.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's like streaming is like so easy. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna set up like here's this random game for my backlog. Like here's Jack Holmes,
Yeah.
Master of Puppets, and you're just like, okay, I guess we're doing that today.
Yeah. And that's the
And
great
it's like the
part.
funnest.
Yeah, that's like the
Yeah.
great part for me. It's like a twofold, right? Like there's two parts that I love. Number one is probably, I guess this is the biggest one, is being able to share games that I love, like Alone in the Dark. Like when I first streamed that in 2020, no one there knew what it was, right? And it was just like, whoa, what is this game like? And I was able to share that with people, and it was like super cool. And so like I love being able to share like my favorite things with people, but I also love on a completely different note, I love just like being able to again have the opportunity to like I have a lot going on in my life, so I don't really necessarily spend a lot of time just like playing games. So it's like an opportunity, like, hey, I can like play this game that I've been meaning to play. As an example, like I wanted to play Omori for like a million years, and so because of the power of like, hey, I can make content out of this, like I was able to play Omori, and I'm super happy that I did get to finally play the game because, without having the, like having the ability to do it as content, who knows like when or if I would have even had a chance to get around to playing it. So I guess for me, yeah, it's like a kind of a double-edged sword. Like I can share things I already like with people, but I can also enjoy new things with those people as well. And we all get to enjoy it, like something stupid like Jack Holmes. Like we all
Oh
just
my
got
gosh.
to enjoy that together, and we're just all of us like we're laughing in unison, like something like that, where we're all kind of like laughing in unison at this crazy thing. Versus something like Alone in the Dark, where like I already know what's going to happen, but like you watched Alone in the Dark for the first time like this year on Orcas and a little bit on
Oh
mine,
yeah.
and it was just like you had the opportunity to like we all know what's going to happen, but you're just like sitting there like what is this game? Like, what is going on? Like, this is so ridiculous at certain
Like now
times.
we're transformed into a cat.
Yeah,
Now we're like some kid in like a
yeah.
Home Alone sense.
And you're
Wasn't this
just like,
about like evil, like eldritch
yeah.
monsters? What's going on?
So it's fun. Like, yeah, like you just have like a totally different perspective than the rest of us, but it's like super really just fun to just kind of see how I don't know, how just like your perception as like someone who has never, seen that game, for example, versus the perception of us who are just like kind of like in the know, like we know what's gonna happen, but he doesn't. So it's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, I love that back and forth about streaming, and that's why I'm still like keeping up with it. Even when this project's done, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to keep doing it.
Yeah. And even for you, like there's different things. Like I think it'd be really fun for you to be able to like share your like, play Tomb Raider, for example, and like share your perspective is just like, hey, like I played this when I was a kid, but I haven't played it in a long time. Like, cause I also haven't played it in a long time. So like I think we might have like a similar reaction, but then there'd probably be some people in chat who are like super knowledgeable and pro that are like, oh, like, no, this is like really obvious. Or like, yeah, you like this is how you do that, or whatever. It's just like getting the different perspectives is always like super fascinating to me. And I love that just like, yeah, see how like different games and different media hits different people differently, and I think that is just a really awesome thing.
Yeah. So that question we definitely answered in depth.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Or did we get the whole one? Let me see. Okay, yeah, I think we
Oh
got
my
that
gosh.
pretty good. Yeah, so Otterly's was more of a specific, but he kind of grew into like enjoying it on its own. For me, it was just more of a general thing that turned into this beautiful community that we have here. So yeah, pretty darn cool.
Yeah, I'm really yeah, and now I'm glad that like, hey, after all that, like the web of dominoes that like fell off. That's like, oh, now it's like, I'm really glad that I was able to, I guess, be a part of this community, basically because of streaming.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and it's just really really cool. That like just talking about how like if you're feeling lonely at all, like streaming is just such an awesome tool, and I think that's just really cool that people can meet and connect. And like I know in my community, like so many people, like people that never would have probably met, had an opportunity to just like meet each other and bond and just like bond over hanging out in my stream, for all these years. And it's like it's a really nice thing, I think. So yeah.
yeah, I
All
hope it
right.
keeps going for a long time.
I hope so too. All right. Well, let's jump on to the next one. Okay, sorry. Well, I think
Oh my
this
goodness.
isn't a question for you, but I think it's actually a
Oh,
question that you'll this is from Ross Cool Cat, and it's not a question for you, but I think it's a question that I can shape into a question sort of for you. I mean, you can answer it, but it really is specifically anyway. It says, "Have you ever had
we'll
a
see.
dream where you were your Raiju Thunder Dragon Sona?" And so
I'm so sorry.
you've never had a
I
dream?
don't have
Wow, that's
dreams. I
crazy.
just ripped the band-aid off. I'm like, I know I said I like having naps, and I'm like, that's exactly why I like having naps, because I just I just pass out for how many hours and I wake up, I have no memory of what happened. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's great. I mean, it sounds nice. I mean, I have dreams sometimes. They're just
Mhm.
extraordinarily rare. It's
Yeah.
usually if I'm absolutely exhausted. That's
Yeah.
about it.
That's interesting.
But
And
maybe if I to tire myself out, maybe one day I'll have a dream like that.
when you go to LVSC, you're so tired from the flight that you'd be
No,
dreaming.
actually. And I've hung around all of y'all for
Yeah.
like how many hours?
Yeah, for real.
It'll be in my
So
subconscious.
I do dream a lot. I would say on average, I probably dream, I would say every other night most of the time, give or take. Um, but yeah, so to answer your question, no, I don't. I know a lot of people dream like as their sona, or they have dreams like where they're their sona. Unfortunately, my dreams are always just I am my normal human self, which is unfortunately a little boring compared to being like a cool dragon or something. So unfortunately, I don't. And I'm not really sure what the, just like how, some people don't have dreams at all, like Otterly, but like some people I know, like people have told me like how they're able to, they have dreams like where they're sona or like of like whatever it may be, like doing things as their sona, and I think that's, I mean, that's obviously really freaking cool. I do not have those, but you know what, I think it's cool. So if you do, hey, congrats to you, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, my dreams
And like
are oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm like, now I'm starting to get a little jealous. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
like that's really cool. I dream a lot, but I'm just as, it's just as normal human me. So it's not. I've never had a dream as the Thunder Dragon. I don't know. Like dreams are weird in the sense that like sometimes you're not even conscious of like who you are. I guess in a sense, like you're kind of just there.
No,
Um,
I've had multiple dreams where I'm just the cameraman. Like, I'm
yeah,
not even like actually there.
exactly. So like I'm not really sure if I would even know if I was like, if I like, hey, in this dream I'm Raiju. Like I'm not sure if I would even necessarily know. Like maybe I would, but I know people sometimes have very like they vividly know that like, hey, I'm my character or whatever, and you know what? That's really cool. Not I don't have those, but you never know, right? Maybe someday. Who knows? So pretty
Every
cool.
night is a new chance to dream.
That's right. That's a good life motto. So yeah, I think we answered your question. Well, I think we needed a short one because we had like every question so far we've like turned
Has been
into
a
a marathon. Yeah,
huge,
so
yeah.
we had like a short kind.
Apologies, I guess.
Yeah,
That's where I don't even have a cool dream to share instead. I'm just like, sorry, it's very I close my eyes and then I open my eyes and some 8 hours have passed.
I will say I have weird dreams a lot that are just like that are very like silly. Like I've like there's like a YouTuber I watch that does like gambling videos, and I've had like multiple dreams where like I like run into him at the casino and then we're like, yo, like let's make videos together and stuff like that. Just like very random things. So like I definitely have weird, like very like silly dreams like that. But yeah, not as my Sona, unfortunately, just as, good old human me. So it is what it is. All right.
Someday.
Well, this one I think it's kind of related. We kind of already sort of kind of talked about this, but I guess it'll be kind of like rehashing what we just talked about. But it says, "What's something you've never streamed that you would like to stream?"
Oh, I have literally any answer I want because I've just been like doing coding and that's like it.
Yeah. Well, what would you like to do more of?
Um,
Video game streams?
I'd love to do some more game streams. I've been considering, because one stream a week is it can be a little bit constricting of like what like topics I can because I'm like, oh, I need to make sure this like works. I love okay, I guess Head in the Clouds, one of those Germa streams where he like okay, he's like a grown man with like money behind him where he can like afford this kind of stuff, but he does stuff where it's like fully viewer integrated.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, the biggest one he recently had was like Germa's dollhouse or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like you could buy him stuff that would appear on the stage, and it was a whole sound stage and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Or like the archaeology stream, where like he just had a whole plot of land, and he'd find like fake artifacts and like talk about them. And it was like that is I think using Twitch as like a medium, like as like fully like Yes, more realistically, stuff like, oh, I want more like, I guess more stuff that's like, I guess I hate to say more fun to watch, but like maybe
Mhm.
easier to banter with, where it's like, oh, here's this game, people are excited to like see it or like my reaction to it, etc.
Yeah.
But it's like using Twitch as something like specific to streaming, where it's like, oh, this is, I guess, a real time game, I guess is the best way to describe it. It would be phenomenal.
Yeah. No, I think that's really cool, and, like, I don't follow Germa at all other than, like, people memeing in chat, but even I knew about those streams that he did, because they, like, took over the world because they're so, like, creative and cool, and, yeah, I mean, I think doing stuff like that, um, is really cool. And I would be open. It for me, it's kind of just tough because I don't have a lot of everyone. The most important resource in your life is time, and I just don't have a lot of time to commit to like putting together something like that. I think it's really cool. But even like there's a for example like. I only do one subathon a year because it takes a lot of planning and a lot of time, which is like an asset that I don't have a lot of to spare. Um, so I definitely think doing stuff like that would be really cool. For me, probably not super feasible. But I mean, hey, if you did cool stuff like that, I mean, yeah, I think it's really neat and it'd be fun to see for sure.
Yeah, stuff like that is like full-time streamer status.
Yeah,
Like, I'm sure it was neither cheap nor was it quick to like make custom extensions, like
yeah,
rent out all the stuff, make sure, test it, make sure the audience stuff works without breaking the entire stream,
yeah,
like what I do. Where I'm like, okay, chat, let's try this out, and then like nothing happens. I'm like, oh, never mind. And then 2 hours later, it's still not fixed. But it's like, I just love stuff like that where it's like direct audience interaction, I guess. I don't
yeah,
know if that counts as a type that's, or if it's a little too broad, but it's like stuff like that where it's really like creative. I guess using Twitch as like an art form, I guess is the best way I could describe it, where it's like this could only happen because it was like a live streamed event.
yeah.
I'd love to do something like that someday.
I think that's really cool. Yeah. Well, I hope that you can do something like that. I mean, that's a cool answer because my answer was just going to be probably something like what's something you've never streamed that you would like to stream. So for me, I don't know. Like again, it comes down to just like being realistic. Like a lot of the time, like I've thought like, oh, like more IRL streams would be cool, like to do like more IRL streams. But then like the logistics behind that kind of thing, like I've talked a lot about like, oh, like when I go to the strip, like I'll do a stream and stuff like that. But like the logistics behind like ensuring like you have good Wi-Fi signals and you're doing all these things and like some place they're kind of sketchy about filming. You don't know who's going to be in the background saying whatever things and like all this different
Oh
stuff. Like
yeah.
there's a lot of logistics that go behind. Like if there was no challenges, like I think doing like live streams like at the casino, I think that's really fun. Like I like going to the casino and I like live streaming, so I think that's like really fun. But I guess just like from a logistic perspective, I'm very aware of like what I think is like a fun thing versus like what's actually like a viable thing. Like what's just like a dream that's probably not gonna happen versus something that like oh yeah like I could see this happening. So I think for me, realistically, what would I like to stream more? I've kind of already been doing it. It would be like more horror games, which I've been able to because I love horror in general. So for me, kind of just having the opportunity to stream more horror games, and which I've been able to do this year, and we've been having a pretty fun time, I think. So yeah, that's been
Oh, it's
going
been
well.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think just
Your horror game streams are like they're always great because of your, again, like it's
yeah,
like, again, Twitch streaming. You have great reactions not just because like you're funny, but also like you are not a horror, like you're not easily scared. So you're
yeah.
like, oh, I guess the thing tried to scare me, but I'm just too.
I give him credit. Like I'm like, oh yeah, that was a like I listen. I don't want to like be mean to their effort. Like they put this game together, like putting a jump
No,
scare there
but
to try to scare me. But so I'm recognizing like, oh, they put a jump scare there. They were trying to scare me. Like it didn't, but you know
no,
what? They were trying. I
that's so
respect it.
funny. No, but that's always so funny because you
Yeah,
sound. I had to say you sound condescending to it a
yeah.
little bit. Where you're like, "Oh, you tried. That's so. I
That's so
love your
adorable.
effort," and then I pat them on their like head, like, and
That's
that's
so
always
true,
like
though.
that's always just funny.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it
mean,
it is it is almost in a way though. It's true. Like, ha! Like you think you can scare me? Good try. But
Ooh, try.
yeah, I think for me that's just, and for me the focus has always been in like so like when I first started streaming on Twitch, like the thing was like people would only pretty much play like, oh, this new game comes out on Friday, oh, I got to stream this new game, it'll get me the best numbers. And I've always been someone that like, I don't care, I'm gonna stream what I want. Like no one's watching Alone in the Dark, no one's gonna be like, let me come to your channel because you're playing Alone in the Dark. Like no one does that. Like whereas like if I'm playing like, let's say, oh, the new Silent Hill game came out this week, like I would presumably get a lot of people to come and watch, like if I stream that because it's the cool and popular game. But I've always been very adamant, like I'm not gonna stream what other people like want me to stream or what they think I should stream or what I quote unquote should stream. I'm gonna stream what I want to stream, which has always been like the way I've approached streaming. So for me, I guess what I want to stream more of is just games that I want to play. Like if I want to play freaking Jack Holmes, like I'm not, no one's joining, no one's going to be like on Twitch searching like, oh my God, he's playing Jack Holmes. Like I got to go watch this guy's channel, but I want to do that. So I'm going to do that because it's what I find fun. And that's, that's what you should do streaming for. You should want to have fun. So if I'm not having fun, then what's the point, you know?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I mean, I remember, I mean, again, I was watching clips, I wasn't watching actual streams, but I remember people, there was a big kerfuffle over like, I guess variety streamers weren't the big thing. So it was mostly like what you said, people who are like, oh, I need to get like the newest thing so that way I know people tune in.
Yeah.
But I've always, I mean, again, this is my personal preference, but like I've liked the variety streamers, like choosing what you want because
Yeah.
I'm here for the streamer.
Yeah.
Like if I want to see Alone in the Dark, I can look up 100 YouTube
Yeah,
videos or
exactly.
at least 50 other people like streaming at the same time. It's like, okay. Like, no, I'm here for whatever the streamer is like interested in.
Yeah.
And choosing something that you're interested in will give you bigger reactions than like pretending to like be excited for something, which is just defeats the whole point to me.
Yeah. And and it's like the thing for me too is like someone like, let's say someone's like a really big fan of, I'm just going to choose a random game. Let's say someone really loves like Omori, right? And like, okay, so they see me streaming Omori. Cool, so they watch, right? But then like they're not watching because of me. So then when I play Alone in the Dark, are they still like a completely different game? Are they going to watch me when I play Alone in the Dark? Probably not. They were watching me because I was playing a game that they like, So I would rather have people that are there because, hey, like I like this guy, and people tell me like all the time, like, so for me, I don't know if you're familiar, there's like an old DOS game called Commander Keen, which is like from the early 90s, and it is like the sounds in that game is like, it sound like the sound effects in this like 90s game are like nails on a chalkboard. It's like a very old game. Like it is not an aesthetically pleasing game to a zoomer, right? For sure. But like I remember like when I streamed Commander Keen and I had like 30 or 40 viewers, I was like, I've made it as a streamer because I can literally play this game. Like no one is watching this game because, oh, this game is so good and cool, They're watching because I can make a good show out of a freaking game that is not exactly an easy game to make a good show out of. So at that point, I was just like, okay, like people are watching for me. Like there's people here, like they are clearly here for me. So that's cool. Like that's awesome. So I have done my job as a streamer. Like that people want to watch me play this game that like realistically no one really wants to watch probably, but they like it because I like it and I'm here and I'm making it as entertaining as I can for a game that like anyone can make, like I don't know, the new Silent Hill game or something that like everyone likes because it's cool, it's got good graphics, it's like an exciting game. Like anyone can make that entertaining, but like something like Commander Keen, like it's going to be different, right? Like you have to really enjoy the streamer to want to watch that, and I'm thankful that people did and do want to watch what I'm enjoying. So, yeah, thank you people for watching that, and yeah, I think I have an interesting perspective on that because for me, that's just always been my brand is just play whatever I want. It goes back to the same as like me playing Alone in the Dark. Like most people during like spooky month, they're playing like the new Silent Hill or like something that's like universally loved, like Resident Evil or something, and I'm playing Alone in the Dark. Why? Because I like Alone in the Dark. So, it's just about do what you want to do, and that's the advice I always give to people. Is play the game like you want to play. because you like it. Like don't do something because someone else likes it. Like do what you want to do because yeah, it's you should enjoy yourself. And that's what streaming's about. So
Oh yeah, that's perfect advice because it's like that just sounds more fun as a streamer.
yeah.
Like, why would you don't have to worry about chasing whatever when you can just be like, I'm not really feeling it this week. Let me put on an old favorite, and you can like know that
Hmm.
people are still gonna show up, and you can still just
Exactly.
be yourself.
You can be yourself, and you don't have to stress like, oh, I don't really, like, oh, I don't like Call of Duty, but like the new Call of Duty game came out, so I have to stream it. And that's like, I feel like that's like what the like big quote unquote like the actual like full time famous streamers have to kind of do. Like, oh, this new game came out, like I make my living streaming, I have to play this new game. And it's like if a game comes out that I don't want to play, I don't have to play it. Isn't that cool? Like that's awesome. I can just do what I want to do. So yeah, very very enjoyable and nice to not be weighed down by like I say societal expectations like it's society, but like Twitch expectations, I guess, or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, ruled by your audience, I guess,
Yeah,
is
exactly.
a big like danger. Like,
Yeah.
no, if that happens, like danger zone.
I
Like, nope.
Exactly. And I mean, I guess for me also, it's like, what's the point? If people don't like you for you, like, they watch you because if you're doing it like to make a living, like if you're Germa, like I understand, like I need to play the coolest, like, and I don't think he does that, but like just an example, like if you're doing it for a living, like you need to pay the bills. Okay. I get it. Like you need to play the hip game because it makes you money and you need money to live because we're in a capitalist society. It sucks. I understand. But like if you just like stream twice a week for fun, what's the point of like I need to maximize my viewers, I need to get two more viewers playing a game I don't like or whatever, like I really need these two random people to join my stream so that I have two more people in chat that are going to leave immediately when I stop playing this game. It's like and maybe that's just me, but like I don't see the value in that and I've never seen the value in that. So that's why, I just play what I want. And like maybe like the hip whatever game, and I guess also I'm cheap, so like whatever the hip $60 game is right now, maybe I want to play it, but like I have plenty of video games, so like I'll buy it in a year and stream it in a year, even though it won't get as many viewers as like when it's new and hip. I don't really care. Like it's fine. Like I'll play it when I want to play it at the cost that I'm comfortable paying for it. So
Yeah, that just sounds like the other because that just sounds like what they say where you say try not to like monetize. I mean, it's a general rule. Obviously, it's not specific, but like monetizing what you love because it's like
yeah,
it kind of turns into a business. That sounds like the fastest way to burn out on games and never enjoy one ever again.
100%. And I have a good example. I mean, I played poker for a living, and let me tell you, playing poker, not doing it for a living, just doing it as a hobby, is 1,000 times more fun. I've talked about my eBay business, and like I make good money on that. And people have asked me before, oh, how come you just don't do that full time? Because for me, I enjoy it as a hobby, and if I do it full time, it will lose a lot of the fun. If I was streaming or playing video games full time, I am certain it would lose a lot of the fun as well because it becomes stressful. And we are in a capitalist society where you need money, and if you're relying on something you enjoy for that money, I mean, I guess in certain cases, right? Like if you're like a game dev, I mean, even like developing games, I imagine is like way more stressful when you're doing it for your full time job. Like, obviously, some people like you, for example, want to do that and they're okay with doing that. But like, I'm sure it'll still be more stressful when you have to like you have to pay your bills by doing this thing.
Oh yeah, that's a secret fear of mine. Right, it's in the back of my head where I'm like, if I ever do pivot to doing like game development like full time, I'm very scared that it would turn out to
Yeah.
it would turn into its own nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just unfortunate that like we live in a very society where you need to make money and
We
every
live in a society.
thing.
You can say it.
Yeah,
Say the phrase.
things get more expensive every day, and you know what? We need money, and so we gotta slave away to capitalism, and so be it. So
Yeah.
be it. But all right, well, I think we answered that pretty good. So I will jump into the next one. And
Yeah, we got a
this
little philosophical.
I'm gonna phrase this. I'm reading it. Sometimes like the phrasing, like not everyone's native English speakers, so the phrasing's a little weird. But I'm gonna interpret this way. So it says, "What is the funniest moment or game that you've experienced?" So I assume that means like, what is the funniest like either like a moment in a game or like a game as a whole that really tickled your funny bone and made you laugh a lot. So yeah, I guess I don't know if you have an answer. I know one answer, but I feel like I should have more, and I kind of do, but I have one
Yeah,
that jumps
same.
into my mind. So if you're not sure, if you need time to think, I can answer my first one. Um, but if you
I
have
can
any anything,
do yeah. Hmm. It's hard to say. I think I need to
think on it a little
fi-
bit.
I need to think on it. I think my problem is I don't play a lot of straight up comedy
I
games.
feel you.
So I'm like looking through my Steam library real quick.
So I'll just answer mine, and this is like a game you've played, and you maybe agree it was a long time ago, but like for me, like a game that always like that gave me a lot of laughs was Undertale. Like Papyrus and Sands, like hilarious. So that's a game like they had a lot of times where like I was laughing. I mean they're funny. I mean they're intended to be humorous characters, and I admit they definitely made me laugh. Especially the first time I played Undertale was like, okay, this is very ridiculous. I like this. This is funny.
Oh yeah, I loved Undertale, but it's weird that like for a lot of my Undertale, like my love of Undertale, it's not really the humor, which is shocking.
Mhm.
I mean, I say shocking, but like I love like Earthbound, the quirky inspired RPG. I'm like most of the time I'm not in it for the humor. Like
Yeah.
it's usually the other parts of it, which is what's interesting to me.
Well, I think the thing about Undertale too is like Undertale does a great job of like the gameplay's fun, like it can make you laugh, like it can make you cry, like it can make you feel a lot of different emotions. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why it was popular. Like whatever you're trying to get out of it, if you need like a lighthearted, humory thing, like you'll see the humor. If you need to like feel things, like it can make you feel things. Um, so yeah, I think that's definitely one thing it does really well of the many things that it does well.
Oh yeah, it does like a lot of things very well.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like looking through it. I'm like gut busting, like laughter. I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think some of it, I think a lot of it, you know what? I've seen this one. I remember really liking the humor in this one specifically. Um, Yakuza Zero,
Oh,
or just
interesting.
Yakuza in general, I guess, where it's like, um, uh, it's this very it tries to be a very I guess maybe that's it because it's not supposed to be a comedy and
Mhm.
that's what makes it funny I guess to me is where well it is but like the main story isn't where it's like it's called Yakuza because it's a somewhat serious like drama like crime story about the Yakuza obviously and so
Yeah.
they're beating people up it's fairly serious like there are some like but it is very lighthearted in especially the side quests and Zero specifically there's a mini game it takes place in the 80s and so um they have discos and so you could just like
Oh, yeah.
as the gruff you've seen like the main character abs like take out like a bunch of guys and like he's trying and he's like in this he's involved in this like gritty crime plot of like what's happening and then like you can always just like immediately pivot to like doing some absurd side quest where it's just something where it's like oh well we're gonna go like dancing at the disco and it has a
Yeah.
completely furnished like mini game like where you're just trying to do your best dance moves that's actually like animated within the like
Yeah,
that's fully and
it's
faithfully
completely
created.
unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was the kind of humor that really hits with me the most, where it's
Yeah.
like, if you tell me you're a comedy game, I'm like, whoa, it was a joke. And
Yeah.
I just like expected that. I'm just
Yeah.
like, versus like Yakuza was like, it, I mean, now its reputation is kind of that kind of wacky humor, but still, when you're playing it, you're like, am I about to see more drama or am I about to see more comedy? And like, you never really know the answer.
Yeah. No,
So that's why,
I
like,
think that's
yeah,
really that's funny. And like to use like an example also like something like Jack Holmes, which is definitely not intended to be a comedy, is like so like I was just dying. Like I'm sure you were
no,
too.
unintentional comedy is the best.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I loved the Jack Holmes streams just
Like
because of like you. It's not supposed to be, and that's what kind of makes it funnier.
yeah. That's
And so it's
probably like my
yeah.
favorite genre that is like funny horror. It like we played the frickin' I don't even what was the real I don't even remember what the real game was called, but the booty cheek creek clapper, like that, like
No, oh,
like stuff like
oh, that
that.
was
It's just
the.
like I mean, I guess
I
that
know
was
exactly what
intended to
you're
be
talking about.
funny. I mean, that like the side game was intended to be funny, obviously. It's called the freaking booty cheek creek clapper, but like but like it's not like in your face like here's a joke. It's just like kind of like just ridiculous over the top and you're just like what am I even playing right now? This is amazing.
Oh yeah, I think that's why I can't think of anything specific because I think of all the comedy games and I'm
Yeah.
like, I hate to say it felt flat because it never does, but it's the, I guess, unexpected comedy is what actually gets me like
Yeah.
laughing.
Yeah. I definitely feel that. I guess for me to give a nod to something else that you haven't played, but I know you're familiar with the game is Knuckle Sandwich, which I streamed last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. Yeah. That game. I mean, it's more intended to be humor, but it definitely it had humorous notes. I guess as an intended wacky Undertale esque type of game. It did a good job of that. So I definitely enjoyed that. And there's some game, and I can't remember what dang game it was. I played some game, and I remember commenting like how good the writing was in terms of like humor. Let me look at my what I played last year. Maybe I'm just forgetting because I think it was a game I played last year. Maybe it was like a short stream. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I played something last year and I just remember like, wow, that was really good writing. Which, as a writer, like I recognize that's like the thing, right? Like I don't really know anything about the programming or anything, but like when there's good writing, I can say like, you know what, that was good writing. So I definitely appreciate good writing, and I also, that is humorous that way, but also just really funny, stupid things like Jack Holmes or like even frickin' Happy's Humble Burger Farm with like the dude frickin' riding his invisible bike down the street. Um, yeah, and just stupid. Listen, I'm not too classy to laugh at something stupid that's not even necessarily intended to be that funny, but it's funny.
No, that's usually my thing. Where I'm
Yeah.
like, if it's not meant to be funny, then that just makes it 2 times funnier.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Well, the next question looks pretty well. I guess it's directed at both of us, but there's two questions, one for you, one for me. It says, for Otterly, what kind of game would you want to develop most? And I'll read my part of the
Oh,
question. I guess that means genre is the way I read that, but I guess like maybe
yeah.
specifics. And if you need to think about it, I can answer mine because I think my part of the question is easier.
Yeah, I might need a hot minute,
All right.
but
I'll let you
yeah.
chew on it for a little bit. But mine says for Raichu, besides your RPG for the community, which I guess they know that that's what I want to make. Would you ever want to try to make a different game? So I don't really like have game dev aspirations. I think, in general, I think it'd be cool? Sure. Am I also very, very realistic that I probably, if I have time to even develop one game in my life, it would be the RPG. So like I'm not gonna get ahead of myself, but I think if I was gonna make a game, like I think like some kind of gambling game, like a Balatro type game, that probably wouldn't be as popular as Balatro because that's taken over the world. But I mean, like I like numbers, gambling, math, that kind of thing. So I think making something like that would be like, and I don't know again because I'm not a developer, but like it seems maybe like that might be more reasonable, like something like on a more like even like Otterly, you played Luck Be a Landlord, like something like that might be easier from a development perspective where I'm not skilled, like versus something like I don't know, like a really in-depth RPG or something where the development part might be more difficult. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that, but something more simple that like would be feasible. Because if I say like I want to develop the most awesome AAA like 3D like exploration like an Elden Ring, like I'm gonna make the next Elden Ring, like okay, no, I'm not a game dev. I'm definitely not doing that. But like something that like I could reasonably potentially do, without having to use too many resources from other people, Like obviously I just ask people I know that know how to code and stuff, but like what I could maybe realistically do and like the RPG I wanted to make would be an RPG maker. So that's kind of easy-ish that I could do. So I'd probably want to try to keep it to something that I could realistically, mostly at least, do on my own without having to like, have someone else do most of the work or all the work.
Oh yeah, because I mean, game development is already so difficult, like on your own. It's like
Yeah.
I've only ever developed like game jam games where it's like, here's something you can do in a weekend,
Yeah.
and like even that, I most of the time I do with like a group of people.
Yeah.
Like never. I don't think there's only one game, and again, game jam. Although I did take it from game jam to regular like game,
Well,
that I did on my own. And that's the one where everything is literally just a generic shape tool I could make in MS Paint.
that's amazing.
And with a black background that's just like nothing. Like it's literally, it is, yeah, you
Yeah.
absolutely need multiple people
That's
if you're
that's
going to
my
make a
kind of game.
game.
I want to do something that I can make in MS Paint. Heck yeah.
I mean, you'd be shocked how like far you can get. I mean, especially, I mean, maybe just because again, like in the furry sphere, but it's like there's plenty of RPG maker like games, and I mean, at least in sorry, in the furry sphere specifically, where it's like you can tell they just drew everything in MS Paint, and you know
Yeah.
what? It still like looks like fantastic.
Oh
Just
yeah.
because honestly, it's not even like, oh, you've shaded it and it's in like 4K resolution. Like honestly, all you really need is a consistent art style, and if it's drawn by one person, well, that's as consistent as you can get,
Yeah.
basically.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think it's like it's, like something like Omori, like that person just made that in RPG Maker, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And
And
like
it's literally, it looks like crayon drawings,
yeah,
but
but
like,
it's a freaking masterpiece. And like, yeah, maybe Dude Bro who only plays Madden and Elden Ring like wouldn't like it. But like the audience is there that likes, like, I think it looked great. Like there was no point where I was like, oh, this doesn't look good. Like at all points it was like, oh, this looks great. Yeah.
yeah, again, it's that consistency that's really the key. And like, if you're making it, then that's consistent because you're obviously your art skill is your own, as opposed to it can sometimes be worse if you have multiple people working on a project, and like even if they're all incredibly skilled, if they can't mesh well enough to make something that looks like cohesive,
Yeah. 100%.
which is like what my problem is with my like idea, I guess, kind of answering my first half, unless you had a second like idea they want to like further
No, yeah,
like
for me, I
expand
don't
on.
really have a great answer. It's just like if I was going to do something outside of the RPG, which if I'm being honest, most likely wouldn't happen. It would be a more, I wouldn't, it wouldn't be a very complicated project. Like it would be something simple-ish. Like it'd probably be something like your game jam games, but like I really like I played that game. Like I'm like again, I'm not a coder, but like I played that game Calculate It, which is literally just like numbers on a screen. It's just like math, and that was really fun. And like that's probably, I mean, I'm not a programmer, but like if you've ever seen the game, like the game is just like literally numbers, and like it looks like a calculator on a screen and you do math, like something like that, like I could probably do. I like math. So like something like that, maybe like I could realistically do. Like this person sold this game for $2. It has 5 user reviews. Like not a lot of people have played this game, but like they made it, and I thought it was fun. I mean, I played it. I have 100% on the game. Like it was fun. So yeah, I think it would just be like something that I could do. Like I wouldn't be looking to make like the next Omori that sells like 5 million, or maybe that's not a good example, but like the next
However,
the next Undertale or something. Like I'm not trying to make something like
yeah.
that. Like I would make something simple that I like, that maybe people would play, maybe not that many people would play. I don't know, but it would be something that goes back to just like streaming. It would be something that I want, even if it doesn't appeal to like Germa's not going to stream it. Okay, that's fine. I'll live.
Oh yeah, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's funny that like our answers are gonna be absolutely opposites.
Oh, okay.
um, I, I I guess something that's like mechanically, I honestly don't have a preference. I mean RPGs because it's like I've just played so many of them that it
Yeah.
becomes like my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Where, but I like Undertale like as a thought exercise. I guess it's still my favorite game for like multiple reasons, but it's like honestly just because it, I hate to say it says something, and I'm not like, oh, I don't want to go all pretentious like Jonathan Blow, where he's like, I made Braid, which is like some puzzle game, but it's actually about the atomic bomb. It's like, no, it's something crazy like that. It's like in general, because I don't have like an actual specific idea, but like that kind of uses the like language of games to say something.
Mhm.
Maybe it doesn't have to be something like social, or it could just be about games where it's
Yeah.
like kind of the central driving question of Undertale is like, why is combat like always the default option for
Yeah.
like engaging the player? And so and then it does that by having the same UI, and like everything, like nothing actually tells you you're supposed to like fight the enemies, but
Right.
like the UI, it defaults to that. You get number go up, the actual, you know, the in the human like instinct of number go up, and so you like that's why you want to fight them. And then it doesn't display any actual like horrific, like if you're playing like an average player, you're not going to go on like the evil route. You're just going to be like, you're just fighting enemies. And then because it's so stylized, it presents it as a fun good thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, this only works as a video game because it's using the language, just like the UI elements, the like sound design, the everything. If, you know, if this was just like a TV show, well, there's already plenty of TV shows about why violence is bad. Like
Sure.
you're not saying anything new. But for stuff like Undertale, it's like, hey, our medium might have some unintentional messaging, or hey, why does this trope exist? And then it kind of answers it because, hey, you know what? Number go up is fun. But it still kind of has some bad implications for for what kind of messages we're saying. And so even something as simple as like making a Persona clone just to teach people like the organizational like
Yeah.
aspect of how to make their lives, because that's I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but it was like I really liked having sort of an educational like game that had like a one-on-one dialogue with the player to just I guess teach them something outside of just being entertainment.
Yeah.
And so something like Undertale that kind of does it all. You know, it's funny, it's serious, it can make you like laugh, it can make you cry,
Yeah.
it has like it has the characters that people love to like write about even outside of it. It like that's a little bit of everything, and
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
obviously head in the clouds.
even like Omori, I mean, same kind of thing, right? Laugh, cry, feel things, you know.
A little bit. And the same thing, it's like that game, it has a central message about like managing with your emotions. And
Yeah.
hey, what do you know? The entire combat system is about managing your emotions.
Yep.
And something like that where it uses something that's able to use the language of games just to further its message, I
Yeah.
think is probably the best. Where it's like, hey, we can I guess teach, I guess is the best way to say it, where it's like, even if I did make some like maybe not in the leapfrog sense where it's like, oh, here's the Space Invaders, here a quick answer 2 plus 2, you know,
Yeah.
not that kind of edutainment game, but something similar to that where it's like you kind of harness the Tetris effect to like teach someone
Yeah.
something.
You
Like
want you want them
Persona
coming out.
wasn't, yeah.
You want them coming out of the game like having gained something, not just like, oh, that was mindless entertainment, but like, whoa, like I'm gonna totally look at my emotions, for example, in a different way now, or like I'm gonna do this, and you know. So yeah.
Yeah, something like that, exactly. I don't and I don't, and for the record, I don't mind making like entertainment games. That's
Oh
what I've
yeah.
been doing entirely. And like it's entertainment for me too. Like I like making them. But just like if I could eventually one day make something like that where it's like questioning like kind of what the medium is saying or teaching someone something, like say Persona accidentally teaching someone how to organize their time, that would be that's like top like life aspiration goal, I
Yeah.
guess. um but I think right now, like in the short term, because that's my long term, I'd say short term is probably I kind of want to see about making like a Persona like,
Hmm.
where it's a little bit of everything, where you get to both write a story but also have some kind of like fantastical like element where it's like, oh, this is just like entertainment, like
Yeah.
here let me write out his characters, but then also here's like some gameplay that like kind of breaks the mold by combining two different genres.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool. Yeah, so I mean, it is very like you said, it's kind of the opposite. Like I want a game where people, can turn off their brain and just kind of have a little, fun couple hours. And then your kind of point is like, I want to make something where they get something out of it, more than entertainment and have, these experiences and do those things. So yeah, that is quite the opposite of what I said. And I think that's a cool aspiration, like, definitely to have them get something out of the experience beyond just like, oh, that was a nice game or that was fun. To be able to, tangibly help people in the sense of, yeah, like my now I know how to deal with my emotions. Like I played this game and I saw how this affected this character, and now, in my real life, just like how you got a lot out of Persona, like something like that, where people can come out of it with gaining something, I think is really cool.
Yeah. So that was the real deep dive to like what like my game making like would like look forward to, I
Yeah,
guess. But
yeah.
I mean, they both have their place, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean 100%. And I mean pretty much all the games you've made so far, I'm pretty sure are just like mindless entertainment
No,
games. So
they're completely mindless. I don't
yeah.
think I've had one game that had a main character and
Whoa.
she wasn't even named. So
Yeah. So I definitely I didn't think you were saying like, yeah, one is better than the other, but I know I think that's a really nice aspiration. I mean, I think like if I, do end up making the um the community RPG, like I think it'll have some of those elements. Like I really like the idea. Like I hope that, the people that read my novel, for example, got something out of it. Like, here's how these characters dealt with these scenarios. And like I hope that they got something out of it. So I definitely understand the appeal of whatever you create, wanting people to benefit from it or learn something or, help better themselves or whatever it may be. I totally 100% understand the appeal of that. I think it's just for in my particular instance, I'm aware of my limitations in the game making space, so I went for something that I felt would be a little easier. But no, I think that's really cool though.
yeah, I think yours is also absolutely like the right choice for you because
Yeah,
you are booked up. You already mentioned how you're
yeah,
like you wake up at like 8 and then you don't even have free time
seven,
until 8. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, I won't be able to make a game under those conditions either.
Yeah, so and I guess it's also kind of what you for me, most of the time that I play games, most of the games I play, I would say I'm mostly most a lot of them I'm playing for mindless entertainment because my life's really busy, and so I more so want to veg out and just play something mindless, right? So that I guess that's kind of why I gravitate toward, hey, I want to make something like that, something that I would most likely play like I mean I know like technically balatro is a thinking game, but I guess I don't know, it comes naturally for me, so I play that as like my mindless game, even though you kind of have to use your mind. I don't know, it feels mindless to me. But um anyway, that's besides the point. But yeah, balatro that's a pretty funny that I'm saying balatro is my mindless game, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people would say like that is a very game you have to use your mind a lot. But I don't know, I don't know if I
It's a
agree.
little bit of both.
Yeah,
Like you sometimes it's like, at first you absolutely have to.
yeah,
But then like
it
once you
becomes
kind of figure out
autopilot.
like
Yeah,
common, yeah, you're like, oh, let me get these two. Like there's different jokers have different like, oh, these things like they get me a high score, and you just like kind of automatically like pick those instead of
yeah.
like actually thinking
Exactly.
ahead. That's my
Yeah.
problem.
I think that's a good an example, because like when I first started playing Balatro last year, it was the time in my life that I needed like a distraction, right? So I played it as like a little more like I'm learning the game, I'm using my brain, like I'm distracting myself, versus now I use it more um as just a veg out type of game. So I think it's cool. I mean, it's really cool when you can have a game like that you can kind of use for both things, whether it be vegging out or whether it be thinking, whatever it may be. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So,
All right.
I think that was very in depth for both of us.
Yeah, I agree. So we're on to the last question number 9, and
Ooh.
yeah, we're a little over the 2 hour mark, so I think we're pretty close to on schedule. But yeah, so this question, and I will let you. I think I can answer, but if you know your answer, then I'll let you go. As always, I let you go first, but if you need to think about it, then feel free. So it says, "What is your comfort? Game, show, movie, book, etc., or whatever kind of media you want to share. So I guess yeah, whatever what I guess that's pretty much all the types of media. Yeah, I don't know if there'd be like
Oh yeah,
a
I have a
comic book.
couple different ones.
Yeah.
Comic book, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like thinking of every
Although
type of media
I don't
ever.
know. What's your favorite radio play? Oh my god, the worst part is I actually have an answer for that.
Oh my god, I don't. So feel free to answer.
If I'm like on a road trip or something, I will immediately download the Limetown podcast.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just a radio play. It's not an actual podcast. Like
Mhm.
when I say I listen to podcasts, like yours is the only one where people like are just talking in a room. Like
Yeah.
every other one is just a radio play.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's
I
cool.
love it's like, you know what? Yeah, even same thing where I'm like napping. If I need, you know what? Honestly, I am gonna put this as my comfort thing, actually. Limetown. I love listening to it because it's like it's kind of like I say parody, but it's like it's used for drama of like an NPR style thing for a fictional like scientific town, and there's kind of like this driving mystery, but most of it is like it's just a per character episode, and so they just kind of like tell their story,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
just looked it up.
yeah, and it's I would 100% recommend it, and only the first season. There is no second season, but the first season is just I don't know, I didn't. Uh, anyways,
It says it became the
my
number
favorite
one
episodes was
podcast on iTunes, so I guess you're not alone in probably this is a popular thing. I thought you were
no, this
naming
was
like some like
popular, yeah.
obscure thing that no one's ever heard. I never heard of that, but okay, apparently people like this, so maybe some of you listeners know
I mean,
this.
it's Apple
Yeah.
Podcasts. Like, how many people have that downloaded? You know, like
Yeah.
it's still, um, but it's kind of it's always just it's the same. It takes inspiration from NPR. So like it's
Mhm.
always just someone telling their story from like from I guess looking back from it. I don't know how to describe it, but you know they're looking back on it, so you kind of already know how it ends, technically speaking. But it's always just been a comfort since one. I say it's I guess it's almost ASMR like, where
Mhm.
again it's just one person hanging out their microphone telling their story,
Yeah.
and then it's a very I it's funny because it's actually kind of sad, but it feels like it's a like optimistic story where it's usually it's always about the people communicating, and the main theme is communication. So it's people communicating and like in a not unintended, but like in a novel way, and kind of how that changes like their relationships between each other. And so I like listening to it. Just I don't know. I feel at peace. I
Mhm.
hate to say like I hate to say these like I feel at peace like the same way one does when they're on like they like meditate for 10 hours. But it's like I can just that's what I do. Like I
Yeah.
take it if I'm driving for a long time, or if I'm like I need a nap, I need something to put on. Like I'll just like replay like Limetown because I've just listened to it and I'm like, oh, that was a feel good. Well, the per episode stories are feel good. I don't think the main arc is a little sad, but I can just put that on. I don't, and because it's so short, I can just binge it if I need to because it's only like
Yeah.
6 episodes. So I think honestly that's gonna be my comfort show. Though I know he did a lot of games, so
Yeah. Do you have a game that you go back to a lot? Because I don't feel like you. I guess Persona. You talked about that, so probably Persona.
honestly, I don't go back to Persona that
Oh,
often.
okay.
Mostly just because it's so long. Again, 100 hours. If I'm
Yeah.
replaying it, I'm at best maybe finishing the prologue because that's
Yeah.
like 3 hours or so. I think I've told you, but I haven't mentioned it a lot. Um, there's this Steven Universe game
Oh,
that's like
yeah.
a spin-off. It's called like Save the Light, which first of all, I'm so angry they took it off like the storefronts and everything.
Yeah, that's why I bought the
But
hard copy so that I can have it just in
yeah,
case, because like that's the kind of
yeah,
games that like you can't get it any digitally anymore. Yeah.
yeah, it was like the developers posted about it, and I like retweeted it saying like, "Oh my gosh, no, I loved it." Blah, blah, blah. And you were like, "Hey, look what I
No, you
found."
were talking about it on your stream. That's how I
Oh, I
remember
did mention
hearing
it on
about it because you
stream.
were talking about it in a stream, and then I like was at GameStop and I was like, I went to GameStop with this specific purpose. I was going through some old stuff and I found like, you know, how you get like gift cards and you're just like, I have all these gift cards from I don't even know how long ago. So I was like looking at my balance and I'm just like, I had like a freaking, do they have Panera there? Like I had a Panera gift card and like all these random
Oh
ass
yeah.
gift cards of places that I don't really go very often. And I'm like, okay, I need to use these. So it's like, okay, I'm going to go to GameStop where I really don't go very often. And I was like, all right, I need to buy something. And then and I'm very indecisive. Like when I buy anything, like I think about it. Like I don't just like impulse buy things. So like I was in there and just like, like what should I get? Like I don't know what to get. And then like I saw that game and I was like, oh well, I know like if I ever want to play this, like I won't be able to buy it digitally. So oh, what the heck? Like why not? Like it's $20 and like realistically speaking, probably it will go up in value even more because like you can't get it digitally,
Now
so
it's off.
people
Yeah, you can't
people
buy
will
it
want it.
anymore.
And so like yeah, why not? I'll get this. So yeah, who knows when
Gee,
I'll
I'm
play
people. I want it.
it.
It's shockingly good. It's
Yeah.
okay. So obviously it's Steven Universe, so it's like it's kind of like bright and optimistic.
Yeah.
Two, it's like it's aimed towards I hate to say, it is aimed towards kids, so it's
Mhm.
like it's very easy to complete.
Simple RPG, yeah.
Um, yeah, but it's you can tell the developers really loved the Paper Mario series
Mhm.
because it every attack is some kind of like it's basically just Paper Mario, but with like the Steven Universe wallpapered over it.
Yeah.
But it has just a really nice looking like it has that 2.5D, I think is what it's called,
Yep.
where it's like it's a 3D world, but all the characters are just like 2D cutouts. And it's I guess it feels amazing to play.
Yeah.
All the mini games are like quick and simple. It again the combat is like developed specifically so it's easier, so like it never takes more than a couple turns to be an enemy,
Yeah.
even like the bosses. It's very easy to get yourself overpowered, but it's just like, and it has this really interesting mechanic where like the characters can like complement each other, I
Oh
guess. And I
yeah.
don't know, it just gives me a warm fuzzy feeling. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, no.
It's just nice to see everyone compliment each other and
Yeah.
be nice in
It's a
battle.
friendly game, yeah.
It's Steven Universe. Like it's the show where all character development is done through singing and or crying.
Yeah.
Like it's a very like yeah, but it's just I don't know. It just does all the gameplay right with such a like great presentation that I love like going back like just booting it up and not even like restarting it, just going to my 100% completed save file and just going into a couple of battles and just like hashing it out basically.
Yeah. No, I think
And
that, I
again,
mean, I think
it's
that's
pretty
really cool
short.
because, the question was about a comfort game. And I like, that sounds like the most comforted you can be in a game where it's just like all about complimenting each other and just like happy, positive vibes. Like that's like the most comforting thing. So
Oh
sounds like
yeah.
a good answer.
That's yeah. So that's my comfort game. But yeah, Lime Town I think is my comfort media because I can just put it on,
Mhm.
put some headphones, and you're like good.
Yeah. How about, and this is
Oh.
something this wasn't mentioned, but like what I went to was like, I mean, music is a type of media. So I was going to go to some music,
Ooh.
which, maybe you have certain soundtracks, I guess. I mean, they tie to games. Like I know you listen to a lot of video game music, for example. So maybe you'll say, oh, I like the Persona music or something like that, which, valid. Um,
Oh yeah.
but like,
I've
yeah,
got yeah. I've got a lot of the soundtrack on my phone, and I just if I don't know what to listen to, that's usually what I'm putting on because it's just nice instrumental.
yeah. And I mean, do you ever
What about you?
utilize those for, like in a comfort sense? Like, oh, I'm feeling stressed. Like, let me listen to the Persona soundtrack or anything like that? Or would you say you don't really use music like that?
Man, I hate to say it, but yeah, a lot of times my music is usually to get me productive or something.
Hmm.
Like it definitely energizes me, and
Yeah.
like you
Like
could
you're
in a sort
comforted
of
in a sense of like, yeah, like you're ready to like, okay, I can work now or whatever, but I get you.
yeah. If I'm, I don't, I hate that I do this, but like I cannot listen to music by itself. I always have to be doing something.
Yeah. No, that's valid.
I
Um,
don't. Yeah, my music taste changes so frequently that like I have a couple that I always listen to, but it's very rare that there's a song I've gone back to that's more than a year old.
oh wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so
Yeah, so sounds like you're the
So
opposite.
I
You have
well, I don't I am like I said, I'm, even though I'm older, I guess I have the Gen Z like I need to be doing 10 things at once because yeah, I can't just do music. Like I
Yeah.
will have music on and I'm trying to edit a video and I'm watching a YouTube video and I'm working and I'm doing all these different, like I'm totally need to be doing like three things at a minimum at once. So yeah, listening to music. I mean, I guess and I can't even say that I do it on their own because I do it like when I walk jacks, I wear headphones. I have my earbuds that I listen to music while I walk jacks. And when I'm driving, obviously, like I do a decent amount of like longer distance trips to visit family and stuff. So like on my long drives, yeah, I'm listening to music. Um, for a while, I kind of got into it during the pandemic. But for a while, I was listening to music like to fall asleep, which I hadn't really done before, but I kind of got into it during the pandemic. I don't really do it these days, but I'm very methodical. And people comment, and it's really funny because people like notice what I'm listening to, and they go like, "Oh, you're listening to this." Like Pixel one time told me, what did he say? I don't remember what he said, but he commented like, "Oh, I see your whenever I look at your Spotify and because
Like
Discord
the
shows your
Discord
thing."
like
Yeah, he's
presence.
like,
Yeah.
whenever I see you on Spotify, you're listening to this, and I'm like, I look at this time and you're listening to this, and I'm very consistent. Like, I do have like certain albums or bands that I like to listen to during my like I have like my daytime music when I walk jacks. I listen to more upbeat type of music, and then when I walk jacks at night, which will be in a little bit here, um, I listen to something more like chill vibes. So I definitely have my things, and then like there's certain albums that like I only listen to for the most part like when I'm going to bed, like some albums I really like, which I won't like bog down the details, but like one like for example is Porter Robinson's Nurture. Like for a while I would only listen to that album like while going to sleep, and it was like my comfort sleep album. So like I'm very routine oriented. I've talked about it a lot. Like I have routines, like I'm very consistent with my sleeping, with my eating, with my breaks at work, like my stream, everything. I'm very consistent, and that includes the music that I listen to. See, on the opposite, you don't listen to things like that's all I listen to. The same stuff, the same. My top 5 bands on Spotify every year, for the most part, won't change. Um, and so yeah, so I am the opposite. I have a lot of comfort music. Like when I go on a 5-hour drive to California, I have a certain playlist that I listen to. When I do this, I have a certain playlist that I listen to. But yeah, I don't really necessarily listen to music on its own as a comfort source very often. But I'm very consistent with my music choices, I guess. As far as other media, like I guess when I like platformers, you guys know like I'm a big platformer guy. The type of games like I would play is like maybe a Celeste or like a Donkey Kong Country, something like that would be like a comfort game where I just games that I know really well. Those are my comfort games, is games that I know really well. Like I'll play Alone in the Dark or something. Like a game that I don't have to think about, that I know really well. And it's not necessarily limited to any type of particular game. It's just I would want to play something that I know extremely well versus a particular genre. Some people maybe say like, "Oh, RPGs." For me, it's whatever genre. I just want it to be a game that I know really well, that I don't have to think too much about. I guess the same thing goes with shows and movies, and I know I annoy people with this sometimes. Like I have before, like in person and stuff, because I'm like, I'm tired. I want to watch the same thing that I've already seen a few times because it comforts me. Like, and it's definitely like in some senses it's a flaw of mine, and like, and I know other people have the same thing where it's like oh, I could watch a new movie, or I could watch the movie that I've already seen 20 times that I'm comforted by watching, you know?
Hmm.
Like life is hard. Like I could watch a new movie, but like also like part of it, like I remember I used to say this to Tushabi a lot, and he would like be like, "Oh, let's watch this brand new like cool show that's out." And I'll be like, "Can we just watch like X other show that we've watched like 100 times?" Because like I don't feel like having to think or like pay close attention and analyze. Like I just want to like turn off my brain and like just like watch something that I know, like you know how it is, like when you watch something and you have to like pay super close attention, and like or you miss a detail, you'll be screwed. Like I don't want to watch something like that. For some of my comfort is usually watching things that I can veg out, turn off my brain, because my brain operates at a high level a lot of hours a day. So when I can turn it off, that's my comfort, is like turning off my brain, relaxing with like a game I know really well, a show or a movie I know really well. Books, not very often. I don't read as much as I should these days. Probably should, but um, it's just like the natural tendency in this day and age to want to do something that requires less effort or thinking than reading. Unfortunately, so yeah, I guess. I guess it's similar. We both have the idea of like you've listened to that podcast like a million times, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
comforting for you because you have listened to it so many times versus something completely
Yeah.
new.
I feel the same way with, I mean, that's though it is kind of funny where you mentioned like you like how it's like comforting because you don't have to pay as much close attention.
Yeah,
Like that's 100% the case with my favorite game where I'm like, oh, I don't have to care. It's like made for kids or whatever.
yeah,
So it's like intentionally easy. It's funny that the podcast, like, yeah, I usually pay more attention to it, which is what's interesting. Although it might also be like, because I can just close everything else. I can close my eyes and
yeah,
I don't have to take in anything else.
yeah. I
And that
guess
might
that
be
you're only
that might be
using
better.
one. You're using only one sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's very hard to like overload like sounds without like it just becoming impossible versus like, you have like 6 Twitch streams up and
yeah,
you're like, oh, I could try watching all of them and
yeah.
you can almost be successful.
Yeah,
Versus it's like if you have too many sounds, like you're just not hearing any of them.
yeah, and on that same note, it's funny how you can have like such a different experience on Twitch. You can have it like it very much as like a chill kind of like have it in the background. Like I know a lot of people listen to my stream, for example, just like on the background, like turn off their brain, just have it in the background. And then like some people are very active, like they're like taking everything in, they're like chatting, like and like so yeah, it's interesting how like those different mediums can kind of you can utilize them for what I guess you need them for. Because Twitch can be a very like active engagement platform, or it can be something that you have on in the background. So I guess probably that's part of the reason why Twitch is really popular because whatever you want to socialize, hey, cool, you can do that. You want to just have something on in the background to listen to, cool, you can do that. Like you can do it the way you want to do it.
Oh yeah, that's always the best part. And you know that like they'll be fine even if
Yeah,
one person isn't there one night, you
yeah,
know?
like I've told Orca that before because like sometimes like in his chat, for example, like some days I'm super chatty, active, like you. I mean, you're there all the time, you see it. So like sometimes I'm super active and chatty, and I have like told him before, like sometimes I'm just tired, dude, and I don't even feel like I've been talking to people all day. Like I don't want to talk in chat. I'm there. I'm certainly there supporting you, but I just don't feel like having like using my brain that much to like have conversations and do all this stuff in chat.
No, you're absolutely real for that. And like you shouldn't like feel like that. Like
Yeah,
no one's expecting that of you to be like,
exactly.
"Oh, it's right you come on in and
Yep.
like spam chat please." Like
Yeah.
for once it's like first of all, no,
I
like
mean,
you should
even in your stream,
be able to
sometimes
choose.
I chat. Sometimes the whole chat is me, and sometimes I'm just like, brother, I'm just gonna have this on, and I don't feel like typing anything. So,
Nope, and
yeah,
you're 100% within
yeah,
reason to do that. Like,
absolutely,
it's a two-way Twitch or just streaming in general is a two-way thing.
yeah,
Like, you don't need to 100%,
exactly,
every time.
yeah, 100%, and it's nice that people have that option, because a lot of like obviously like you listen to a podcast, you don't have the option to interact with them, right? Something like Twitch,
Oh, no.
you don't even ever have to say hi. Like I join streams all the time where I don't even say hi. I just join and lurk. And I use it like as a podcast or something to listen to in the background versus like an active activity like, yo, what's up everyone? Like let me spam these redeems, let me like meme in chat, like let me do all these things. It's like two very, very different ways to experience the same thing, really. So really cool. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I never really thought about that as like super deeply, but I mean, I guess that is part of the reason why Twitch is popular because, you have that flexibility to enjoy it however you see fit. You can watch big
Yeah.
streamers where you can watch big streamers where you're like a small fish in the big pond. You could go to a streamer with like 2 people in chat where you're like the entire chat. Like whatever you want to be, you can do and experience. So
I think that might actually tie into the question a little bit. I guess with Twitch specifically, have you used like a stream that as like your comfort? Like the problem with me is that I'm kind of introverted even when like the internet makes it a lot easier because it's just text as opposed to like
yeah,
actually like a room full of people. But it's like if I'm down for the day, I am not going on Twitch.
Yeah. I feel you. So for me, it definitely depends because yeah, like even me, like as an extroverted person, some days like I don't feel like talking, right? Like I don't want to talk, like I don't want to talk more. And I know, and again, this is like, oh, first world problems, right? You're popular. Like I've said this before, like sometimes I just don't feel like, because I know if I say hi in like someone's chat, like 10 people are going to be like, right you, hey, right you, right you, right you. And it's like, sometimes I just don't like feel like, like talking to people and like making sure I said hi to everyone that said hi to me and stuff. Like some days I just want to veg out. So I would say, yes, like sometimes like I will use a stream for that. Um but I guess it depends. Like yeah, for me anyway, like it that's an interesting question. I mean, I like most of the streams I watch that I have like comfy vibes with are like the people that are like, well, I'm right, like right before I go to bed would be like Orca and Yasha, like are the two big ones that I can think of that are like the ones where like, okay, I don't have to focus on anything else. Like I'm done with all my responsibilities for the day. Like by that point, usually when either of them start streaming, like I usually don't have anything else to do, so I can fully relax, right? Versus like, sure, I can enjoy let me think who's someone who streams like during the day on the weekdays, like Bakenu. He streams during my work all the time. Like I like
Oh
Bakenu's
yeah.
stream, but I almost always it's like, okay, I have a meeting now, I'll be gone, or like, hey, like so it's something like that versus like Bakenu is a great streamer. I love his streams, but I don't ever feel like I don't use it as comfort. Like I'm right in the middle of my workday when he's streaming. Like I'm not comforted. Like I am answering emails. I'm doing all this stuff while I'm like watching him. So it's not a comforting. Versus like someone like Orca, I'm watching him play a horror game that I like, or Yasha, I'm listening to him sing. Like while I'm winding down for my day. So something like that, I would say. For me, it's more around, I guess, at the time that someone streams versus like no matter what, Bakenu could be the most incredibly comforting streamer in the world, but I won't feel comfort watching you stream like that because of when it falls. Like it falls right during my workday. Like it's not a comfort versus like, like if Orca or Yasha streamed like in the middle of my workday too, I also wouldn't really feel the same level of comfort I do, to have that during a time when I can actually relax versus a time when I'm doing, many things. Usually at any point during the day, I'm doing a lot of things at once. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be like comforted watching this stream. I'll enjoy it, but it's not really like a comforting feeling. So yeah, I would say yes, but it's kind of unfortunately for those people, like it's really limited to the people that stream at a time when like I can actually sit down, watch and relax, um, without having any other responsibilities, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah, I mean, yeah, yours is more nuanced than mine. I'm just like, no, no one's comforting. What do you mean? Like, no, they are. Like, it's still fun.
Yeah.
Like you said with like Bakinos, like I love like going like even if it's the work day and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
like it makes
hey,
my
at least
workday
that's a
better.
little yeah. But it's just like there's a world of difference between I'm sitting in my office chair
Yeah.
in my office just answering emails versus I am half asleep with like a full belly, like in 3 layers of blankets,
Yeah.
like
100%.
sometimes it's where you are
Exactly.
that really makes all the
Like
difference.
I am positive if Bakenu streamed at like 9 p.m. at night, oh, I would be so comforted. Like he's a great singer. He's very, very chill, good vibe streamer. Like if he streamed at like 9 or 10 o'clock, it would probably be like one of the most chill streams. Like it's great. But yeah, as it is, it's like, oh, Bakenu's streaming. Hey, Bakenu, I'll be lurking. I have a meeting right now. It's like, oh, maybe I'll be back later. Oh, I'm back. Oh, I just got called into another meeting. Okay, bye. So it's like, it's tough, and like I guess it's the same thing. Like a lot of people I know, like a lot of people, like because all the Europeans that watch my stream, I get like a advantage in that sense. Like people that find my stream comforting, like for example, Chili Mex or Leo, who watch my stream. Like I only stream when it's like midnight or 1 a.m. for them, right? When they're like in bed, ready to go to bed. So I think I probably get a better like for that's a great example. Like those people probably feel relaxed, right? Whereas like someone like Orca, my stream always falls right in the middle of his workday. So I highly doubt he's saying that he feels like comforting relaxation from like hanging out in my stream. He's at work, so probably not that relaxed. But whereas like a Chili Mex, yeah, after his long day, he's gonna lay down and like watch the Raichi stream. So yeah, it's just kind of different. And with the time zones and everything, it's like it's like a complex web of like of time zones and everything, but yeah, it's interesting.
Well, I can't believe Orca isn't comforted by you yelling "Yasha" at like 100 decibels.
Yasha! Yeah.
I'm so comforted by that.
Oh, listen, people tell me that they fall. People, Europeans tell me they sleep to my stream, and like Slink Weasel tells me like, yeah, I sleep to your stream like all the time, and I'm just like, I'm happy that you can, but I don't find it comforting. But you know what? I'm happy that you
Also,
can.
there's like explosions and screaming and raids all the time.
Yeah, there's so much going on, but you know what? You know what? Some people find comfort in that kind of thing. Like probably some people would say like, "Oh yeah, my comfort movie is like, I don't know, freaking John Wick." I'm just gonna think of like the first action movie I can think of, like John Wick or like The Avengers or something. Like, yeah, that's my comfort movie. It's like it's kind of like a a stark difference from like I don't know, listening to like your Limetown podcast. Like that's probably like chill vibes versus like super action movie, but someone probably
Oh
finds that
yeah.
super action movie comforting. So yeah, I guess it's just like it's interesting, different things for different people. I guess it's just how it goes.
Yeah. Sometimes yeah. Sometimes Twitch streams can be one way and sometimes they're the other. A lot of times it
Yeah,
can just be it's just your environment.
yeah, whatever. I guess it's again whatever you want to get out of it, you can get out of it. So that's what Twitch brings a lot of value.
That's why I hope our one, I love breaking the fourth wall because I feel like this is what they would say in a podcast or something where they're like, that's why I hope our wonderful viewers are having a nice, relaxing rest right now. And meanwhile, it's like listening to this at like work or something. And they're like, what?
Yeah, probably. I know Kel listens to my podcast while he's at work. So you know what? Whenever it may be, I think it's at least something nice in the background. But yeah, it's But the good thing about a podcast, right, or like a video, it's not like a Twitch stream where like I'll never be able to watch Bakenu live at like 11 p.m. Right? But if it's like a podcast, like you can choose. Like if you don't want to listen to my podcast while you're at work because you want it to be more comforting, then you can choose to listen to it, before you go to bed or whatever time works for you. So I guess one of the benefits of recorded media. Whoa, crazy.
Whoa. We love recording media.
That's the benefit. That's like why books were invented, so you could read them whenever you want.
We love books.
We love reading. I should read more.
I does reading TV tropes pages
I
count as
know, right?
reading?
That's what I'm like. I read Reddit all day, dude. I'm a great reader. I am so good at reading Reddit.
Yeah. I have a book that I've been meaning to read, but I got it for Christmas and like I just haven't I haven't even like started reading it. Like it's just a fun like fiction book,
Yeah.
but I'm just like nope. I just keep rereading. It's like what you say, do you want to read this new thing or do you want to experience this old thing you've already seen 20 times?
Yeah, that you're so
It's like
comfortable with.
I've got if I'm on an airplane or something, I always bring the same Night Vale book
Yeah.
every time just as a like backup in case I don't have like my phone or something, and usually I'll end up reading it just because like man, I'm gonna sound very zoomer core. Whenever I start reading I get really tired.
Oh, well, you know what? I think actually a lot of people probably fall into that boat. I think a lot of people use reading as like a like a nighttime activity to fall asleep to or something. So, I think that's valid. And like going back to that, it's like the same thing for me. Like in bringing the same thing, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be going to see my parents in 2 weeks. So like on the airplane, I need to like I'll have my Switch and I'll bring some games. And I'm like, well, what game should I bring? Oh, of course I should bring like Super Mario RPG and the games that I've played like 100 times. But right, you have all these games you've never played on your Switch. Yeah, but what if I just bring the games that I've already played 100 times? Like that'll be so comforting. And I'm pretty sure that's what'll end up happening. But you never know. Maybe I'll bring something I haven't played. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. But I need comfort. I need to have my comfort game that'll make me feel all warm and cozy in my airplane for my 1 hour plane ride.
No, absolutely.
So,
Same thing. I guess now that we've kind of made our time for the questions, it's like I hope it's very comforting being able to just, chill out and talk with you
Yeah.
about all this. It's like there's very much a difference between listening to an episode and being a speaker on an episode.
Yeah, well, you get to actually add your input because I'm sure people listen to these and they like like, I can only imagine. Like, for me, I'm a big like, I don't listen to podcasts because I feel like I would want to, like, chime in all the time. Like, I'm very much a chimer inner, so, like, I can only imagine how frustrating it must be when you're watching something and you're like, "I wanna add my input here," but you can't add your input. I mean, that's the great part of Twitch, right? If someone says something or something happens in the game, you can just, like, comment on it right there. It's great.
Right then and there.
Yeah, like
That's yeah. That happens to me with when trying to catch up with the podcast. Like I haven't caught up on last week's podcast yet,
oh, yeah.
but like and then if I listen to like a month later, I'm like, well, would it be dumb to like respond to it
It's funny.
now after so long in like the Discord channel
And
where
and me, like,
like
not even remembering, like, what I said. Like, some people will, like, comment on in, like, an old episode or say something, I'm like, "Brother, I don't even remember that episode." Like, like, after a few days, like, that was completely out of my memory, like, never to be thought about again. So I don't even know the answer to that question that you're asking or, like, that comment you're making. I don't even know what you're talking about, but you know what? I'm sure it's a good comment, but I just don't remember.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know. My brain, I have to quickly move my brain on, to the next thing. I mean, I guess it's just kind of the nature of life when you have a lot going on. It's like, all right, I finished this thing. Now my brain will forget about that and it will move on to the next thing and we'll be thinking about that instead. So that's just kind of
So
how it
yeah,
goes.
and if anyone has a comment, even if it's a months
Yeah,
later,
I'm
and they're
sure
like, "Yo,
Otterly will
Otterly, remember
remember
you
it.
said
He's got a
this?"
really good
I'm like,
brain.
"No." Just make sure to link a timestamp or something.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good
Just
idea.
yeah, just so I
Timestamp
can
is
kind
helpful.
of I can re-figure out my headspace if that's even
Yeah, because
possible.
100%,
Yeah.
like, after we're done here, I will turn this off and I'll, go walk Jackson. And then, like, even if you reference something to me like an hour from now, I'm gonna be like, we talked about that? Like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, really? Whoa.
Oh
So,
my goodness. I'm
it's,
like, "Oh, I should have said this." You
yeah.
know, that always
Oh, a
happens
hundred
during a
percent.
conversation.
Every single time I do a podcast, I am constantly like, how did I not bring up this really important point? And that's why I started, like, when the first podcast episode, which you weren't a part of the community when I released the first episode, but maybe you did listen to the first episode. But, like, after that episode, I remember, like, I was like, I am gonna start taking notes because I think of something and then I don't ever say it because, like, I, get distracted or something. So, like, especially when I have a guest, like, I take notes, like, because you'll be like, sometimes, like, you might be going on about something, right? And then I'm like, oh, I have a really good point. And if I wait for you to finish talking, like, let's say you're, like, telling, like, a story for 5 minutes, if I wait for you to finish, like, for that 5 minutes, who knows if I'm going to remember what I was going to say, right? Because I'm listening to your story and stuff. So, yeah, I found it very helpful to take notes. So even like, I have a Word document that um, I like when I think of, like, a topic, like, and I'm like, oh, I want to talk about that on the podcast. Like, I make a note so I remember because otherwise, like, I will definitely forget. So yeah, I I find myself these days, I struggled with it. Like, it's a very, like, when you're in school, right? Like, taking notes is obvious. Like, you do it when you're in school. Like, it's just the thing. But, like, after school, like, I feel like I've had to, like, kind of retrain myself. Like, it's okay. It's, like, good to take notes. Like, there's nothing wrong with, like, making a note here. Like, I need to do this later, or, like, I need to remember to say this in my podcast, or I need to talk about this on my stream. Like, it's a good thing to take notes in general. Like, notes are useful. So take notes, people.
Oh yeah, no, I have to do that all the time.
Like, yeah, I know we're all like, when you get out of school, right? You're, like, excited. You're like, yeah, no more school, baby. But, like, it's okay. Some things that you did in school are actually useful in, like, outside of school, like,
Even
in your
just
normal life.
yeah, not even in a oh I learned this in class sense, but in a oh I learned this from taking so many classes and
Yeah,
having to learn so much information so quickly.
exactly.
It's like yeah, I used to have to do that at work or something for like meetings or something,
Oh,
or
100%.
even sometimes even in a Zoom call. Oh, not a Discord call. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
what did this person say 10 minutes ago? Because I had a clever something to bring up,
Yeah.
and then I just totally forgot.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, I'd rather do that. Like, that's what I found out, like, after my first episode, because I would just, like, I don't know if you ever watched the first episode, but, like, King would, like, talk for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then, like, I would think of something really awesome, and then, like, it would come back to me, and then and all I would do is be like, King, I had something really awesome I was gonna say, but like now I can't remember it. So like, and then I'd spend like 5 minutes trying to remember it and stuff, and it's just like very frustrating. Like just write it down when you think of it, and then you can, you can have it when you're ready, when you need it. So it
When
doesn't,
you're ready.
it doesn't feel good to like when you know like you have something like, and it sucked because I have this really really good thing to say, but like I forgot it. So womp womp, like
Womp
sucks. Yeah,
womp.
like now it will never be heard. It's like when you're in an argument or
No.
something or like a debate, like, and you're like, damn it, I should have said this. And it's so frustrating.
Ugh, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, yeah, that's what started this whole thing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have something I wanted to say on the podcast, and I totally forgot.
Yeah. It does happen. Well, kids, if you're listening, take notes. Remember, it's okay. Even if you hate school, take notes for things you actually like, like talking on a podcast or on a Discord call or whatever else. Why not? It's fun.
Or even if you're trapped in a meeting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, you kind of have to for the meetings sometimes you don't necessarily want to. It's not like, oh, I can't wait to be able to take notes for this meeting, but you do it anyway.
No, because if I'm not even paying attention during it, then how am I going to remember any of it? Like
True.
that's not going to happen.
Very freaking true.
Um, but for this one, I can't wait to go back and listen to my own voice for 3 hours.
In HD, yeah, you guys Otterly got a brand
In
new mic just
HD.
yesterday, so you're actually. I wonder if anyone will watch this and be like, well, like people that watch your stream too, and be like, whoa, like he sounds so HD. So yeah, if anyone happens to notice that, if you think like, oh, am I imagining that? No, you're not imagining that. He's got a new microphone. Whoa.
Yeah, like this is legitimately just like a really good stress test. Just
Yeah.
to be like, oh, how does it like over time? Because I don't go back and watch my own streams. That's not happening.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I feel you.
But like I also don't have a stream to watch with this microphone.
Yeah.
So
Well, you'll be able to
we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, you won't be able to see this until 9 days from now when it goes up on YouTube. But in 9 days, you'll be able to. Well, actually, that'll be probably the same day that you come back to streaming because you're not streaming this week either. So
yeah, I'm not streaming this week.
I guess
so it's
you'll have a stream and a podcast to listen to your voice on. Hooray!
Whoa, awesome. But yeah, thanks for bringing me on this week.
Yeah, no, I think it was nice, and like I said, it's nice to have different perspectives, right? Just from someone like you who's new on Twitch, who's just kind of joined the community and like getting to hear your thoughts about socializing on Twitch and getting to be a part of a community is cool, and it's different from someone who's been here since the beginning and maybe has been around the block, right? And I guess it's even the same idea of like us talking about streaming. Like I've been streaming for 15 years, you've been streaming for I don't know 4 months. So it's like a very different experience. So I like to get the different perspectives. It's cool. Like I don't want to just like bring on like let me just bring on every single person that's ever been watching my stream for 5 years. Like it's nice to bring like a variety. Like I brought you and Orca and King and people who are like newer to streaming, newer to the community, newer to even just to knowing me at all. So it's cool. I like kind of mixing it up with like people who will give different perspectives, like, a totally different perspective on Twitch and streaming and our community and everything. So yeah, thank you for sharing all your thoughts. And I think people will really enjoy hearing them. I definitely did.
Yeah. And it was great, getting to have that same back and forth that,
It's always fun.
I've listened to other podcasts episodes for.
Yeah. And now you know what it's like. Crazy. Well, someday I definitely I did set the goal, like hopefully someday, like I don't know if it'll be like my final episode or something, but at some point it'd be funny to just have like an episode where I just bring on like every guest we've ever had, at least everyone that's been on that wants to come back, and we could just have like a huge round table. Like it'd be pretty cool. Like it would be a very special occasion type stream, but I think it'd be pretty cool to do that someday.
Ooh, yeah, that would be really good, like novelty for it.
Yeah, just like a ultimate round table of like everyone, and I can only imagine how hectic that'll be with like 6 people or however many people on. So
6 people.
Yeah.
I think you brought on more than 6 people.
Well, let's see. We had King. I'm just gonna let's go down the people who like the non-mods. Like King, Orca, and you, Kel.
Wait, we're not counting mods?
No, we are. I'm saying like I'm just like starting with you guys. So you 3, and then the mods are Kel, Chili Mex, and Leo. Am I forgetting anyone? That's 6. Did I have any other mods on? Let me think.
I don't
No, I
think
don't.
so,
No, I
no.
think it's just you. Yes, I think I've had
It's 6 with me, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah, you are
well,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
I didn't count myself. I meant like, yeah, 6 people plus me, of course. But yeah, I think that's how many people we've had. So yeah, we've had 3 mods, and see, I'm doing a perfect mix, like 3 mods and 3 like newer people to the community. So see, we got a perfect balance. I guess we'll have to figure out what mod to bring on next. Ooh, it's a mystery, guys. You'll have to wait and see. Ooh,
Ooh, a mystery.
ooh.
We like some mystery.
Yeah, I see. Like I did learn. Like the first episode I did with King, like I didn't tell anyone like I was bringing a guest, or I said I was like I didn't say like even that I was bringing a guest or anything, and so like he didn't get any questions directed to him, and I was like, I thought I was being like funny and like hee hee, it's a mystery, but then I'm like, actually, you kind of need to let people know when someone specific is coming on so that they can ask, questions pointed at that person and stuff. So I'm like, see, we're learning. Like, I don't know how to do a podcast, but I learned from doing that. I was like, okay, I made a mistake, but
It was your first episode.
yeah. So
You're completely allowed to do that.
now we'll be prepared. And then like the rest of the people that come on, like I have, hey guys, this person's on, so you can ask them specifically questions. So yeah, it's a learning experience. Like I'm very good at streaming. Like I've done it a long time, but I have no idea I mean, I'm getting to know what I'm doing with podcasting, but when I started, I sure didn't have any ideas. So yeah, it's
Uh,
just learning. Learning is
yeah, you've got
fun.
like a nice blueprint now,
Yeah,
I guess.
I have an
So yeah, I can
idea
definitely
of how to
tell
do
as
it.
you've gotten
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. I look at what episode I'm on before I start the episode, so I can say I can say welcome to episode X, which wow, next week or like after this episode we'll be on 20. That's crazy.
20. Whoa.
Milestones. I'll have to figure out something cool to do. But yeah, anyway, I think we've covered everything. I'm gonna probably say, yeah, we can wrap it up here. I'm gonna go take Jax out because it is past 8 o'clock. He's probably like, where the hell's Raichu? And
No.
and yeah, so yeah, thank you once again for coming on, and thank you to everyone who asked questions. And yeah, I guess just anything else you want to say, Otterly, before we say farewell here?
I mean, basically just like the standard thanks.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, thanks everyone for sticking with the podcast this far and still sending questions. It was great
yeah,
being able to answer them. Of course, I look forward to seeing your responses and seeing
yeah,
how, I guess, your next episode
yeah, absolutely. All right,
and the
well,
next person you bring on. Like, ooh,
yeah, it's a mystery, but it's
it's a
only a mystery for
mystery.
now because I don't know who it is. But I have some ideas, so we'll it's the let him cook. Let me cook. I'm gonna cook up something
Let
for
him
us.
cook.
So
Let him cook.
yeah. So alrighty. Well, thank you guys for listening. I will see you next time.